Hi there. How's it going? Sorry for being a little bit late. I was planning on doing this earlier, but ended up doing it now. So, but better late than never. Oh well. Hey there, Dark Soul. What are we doing today? Today we aren't quite watching Warrior Tier. Unfortunately, I'm not really in the mood for some Warhammer. Sorry though. Love Saucer by Keith Chief. There's something from the Internet Historian that was recommended on my Discord. A new drinking video that he has put out. Even fancier, it's called. I want to check that out. Also, some different stuff, other recommendations that I have on my list. But for a little appetizer, let's stay in gaming, because I've been enjoying making some game videos as of late. So, there's one here from the video game Donkey on the first actual quadruple A game, Skull and Bones. And after that, we'll be checking the incognito mode video. Hey there, Top Whitey. Hold on. I have some tabs there that I need to turn off. Doing some research. I need to log these and done. So, a fun little thing is somebody hit me up. Sometime, I guess subscribers or perhaps just other people tend to send me mails, and I don't know why. Some of them tend to end up in my spam mail. So if I haven't responded to any of your very long questions, sometimes I apologize. I did find one today. Somebody who asked me about travel to Mars and wanted some of my expertise, I guess, in astrophysics, and it sent me on a very long loop of trying to find some data that I wanted to explain. So I have a lot of tabs open right now from my the Institute of Study and some papers from certain academies that I need to make sure that I don't lose. Alright, good. Now, Video Game Donkey. That's the one that we're gonna start with. Arknight music? We can do that. I have a couple, but I haven't listened to a whole lot of it. Alright, let's pause this. Let's get into it. The first quadruple A game, Skull and Bones. Let's see how this one goes. Hey, that's Blind Wake.
I've wanted this for so long. I've always said they need to do this. Oh my god, you're doing it. I'm actually crying.
You will see that Skull and Bones is a fully fledged game, he said. It's a very big game, and we feel that people will really see how vast and complete that game is. It's a really full triple, quadruple A game that will deliver in the long run.
Wait,
oh, no.
Don't play if you're under the influence of drugs.
I just took a big joint.
That should be the only way you do play this game. That's the only way you'll think it's good.
Holy shit, Flup. Do you see this menu? This is a quad A menu.
Okay, you have to enter into a pirate's code of conduct. Play nice.
Yeah, okay.
Behind every avatar is a real person. I will keep cool and communicate with respect in victory and defeat alike.
No shot that they actually made a pirate game that asks you to do this. You've got to be kidding me. I played the beta. I did show some of my gameplay during the roundup video that SkillUp made of 2023's video games, and none of this were featured in the intro. Play nice, play fair. You're a bloody pirate. None of that should be even in your portfolio. No shot.
I'm gonna talk a lot of shit to
I won't do that.
No. Play fair. My skills alone will take me to the top. I will play fairly and never cheat. All this shit is like against like pirates' core beliefs.
Yeah, pirates would never say play nice.
Pirates would never accept a Ubisoft code of conduct.
The dawn of capitalism.
Oh
When
no,
corporations as mighty as nations rule the seas.
that's the actual
With an
intro.
iron fist, they forge a path of tyranny and exploitation.
Look at the smoke. That's like CS2 level smoke.
How ironic is that? They literally snitched on themselves with that intro. Oh no, the radical, they made it worse.
Crazy. I didn't think it would be like this.
Watch the multiplayer be nothing like that.
It's gonna be one of those games where you're chopping down trees.
Some fine timber there for the taking.
The tree is already harvested. I can't harvest none of these trees.
Get one.
It won't let me. These are fake trees.
Try to like get closer.
Flub, there ain't no wood anywhere.
There's a lot. There's lots of it.
What is this lightning meter?
I think it's stamina.
Yes!
My boat has...
Your boat has stamina. Your boat has stamina. And mind you, it's not that it's just those small people down here because, oh no, you are... Oh, no, this is not a freaking rowboat, okay? It's a bloody sail. And even when you upgrade to an actual big ship, it's still the same thing. They don't even take that much into account the wind direction like Black Flag did. Oh, what a disaster.
has stamina? Oh, you have to put the sail away to recover stamina. Fucking wind. It's blowing against me.
You know what we should play? We should play Lord of the Rings War in the North.
I don't play
Hey.
singly.
Come at me, beast!
Come at me, beast. Come at
Why do
me,
you sound like
beast.
like Tommy was up?
That's what my lady on my boat said. She said, come at me, beast. Club, I'm turning down to 2 knots.
Come at me, B.
I'm gonna be fucking skull and bones by the time this game downloads.
Oh, look at that
Ooh,
whale!
the intro. The only good thing
Holy
about this
fuck.
game.
You wouldn't see that in AAA.
Now this is quad A.
Belgrade? Berlin? How many countries did they take
Chengdu!
this game?
Ubisoft
Oh
Chengdu!
my god! They got Naboo? Ubisoft Naboo?
Ubisoft Naboo!
That was the most epic shit I've ever
I'm sold. I'm sold. I'm buying the Legendary Edition.
Blacksmith. He ignores you.
It literally ignores you.
Oh, do you see the thunderstorm over there?
seen. What, to the east? Northeast?
So we actually have the same weather. That's surprising.
Okay, I gotta point something out, okay? For those who do not get the situation, Ubisoft did a big boo-boo with this one. I've called this company one thing for many years now, and it is the company with the most waste of talent and potential ever. Because they have clearly a bunch of talented individuals working for them, but they always make the worst decisions. Ubisoft, since... When did the Division 1 release? Was it 2014? Hold on. Division 1. Oh my god. Ubisoft. No, 2015. December 2015. Okay. So the hype of 2014's Ubisoft, however, when it was showcased on E3, was surreal. And this is the thing that players And Ubisoft themselves, of course, as one of those open market companies, lived off of. They saw potential for creating an actual live service that many people were desiring that was not like Destiny, something that was a little bit more grounded. And they thought to themselves, we can deliver this. We have the Tom Clancy universe. People are going to enjoy this. And guess what? Despite the fumble that the Division had with the whole graphic downgrade, the same like that freaking Watch Dogs 1 had, it still managed to sell pretty good. Same thing with Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs 2 was a great improvement upon the Watch Dogs series, and that one sold pretty well, and was an upgrade to the game. Likewise with the Division 2. Those were live service. If you appreciate the live service model to a certain extent, done right. I still play the Division 2 now once in a while, and I think it's a good game. That being said, okay, that was done by the potential of Massive and all of those companies and people involved there. They did a good job. That being said, from that point on, Ubisoft decided that, oh, this works, so it must work for everything else. No, it doesn't. What they did was that they basically went to Singapore, wanted to have tax reductions, and they ended up getting themselves in a trap that they could not escape. For the last 10 years, they have been looking for what some could basically call, they've been fund chasing. Because Singapore can give you fundings for making games, like many other countries, like the UK, you can get, I think, 25% of tax reduction and also funding to make your game. The problem, however, is that you actually need to release something. And then we have this shit. A downgrade that is way worse than Black Flag that released a decade before this. That's the problem. That's the big, big problem. Even ship combat being minimal is still better than this from Valhalla? Yes. It's so stupid. And this is what happens when you don't listen. When you don't listen to your fan base and you want to play it safe. Because they play it safe mostly because there is one aspect in this type of game that they always base the result off of, which is the operating cost. On a single player game, it's pretty easy, right? You make a single player, it's done. It's a done deal. You just ship it away. You don't need to update it, despite the fact that now we update games all the time when you are on Steam or whatever user you have. But when it comes to these guys, you have the operating costs, right? People need to maintain servers. They need to patch up things. So much stuff has to go in there. So they just gotta put a cheap ass product to make sure that whomever has to maintain it has to do the minimum amount of work. And we end up having this shit. Ubisoft, I hate you for wasting the potential of your developers and putting out subpar product. Sorry about the long rant. I just wanted to get this out of my chest.
Why? It's quad A. How is that surprising at all? My guy looks fucking crazy.
My guy looks like he jumped out of a pirate's ass. For pirates, X marks the spot. And you just picked a random spot. That means nothing.
That's my spot.
You look like you jumped out of a pirate's ass, Flip.
Why do you keep saying that?
What does that mean?
I did not jump out of a pirate's ass.
Now the sea people and I have a deal.
Sea people,
they get the weapons they need.
At least they have sea shanties.
This is a 4A level game. See how there's like hundreds of trees on the island?
Yeah.
Only like 2 of them can be harvested, actually.
Yeah, there's one here on the waypoint that you could harvest, but it's like consumed already.
Somebody already took it. I guess this is what a quad A game is like.
AAA title.
Go to the waypoint.
My boat ran out of stamina. This
I
tree
knew
is
he
gone
was going
too.
to do that.
Nah, you
I
got it.
fucking hate quad A level games. What is this shit? Having fun? We hope you're enjoying your time on the high seas. The premium.
Are you serious? They still do this? Wasn't it last year that there was a whole debacle where in Assassin's Creed Odyssey that pop-ups started showing about the latest titles mid-game? Stop showing us ad, dude. I paid for a full game. At least Donkey did, but seriously? Go to the store. No. This is trash. This is pure trash.
Edition gives you access to the full game. Alright, Flip, mark me another tree.
Alright,
the
next
hell?
tree location right here. It's gonna be about 1,000 meters from you.
What?
Foul weather ahead!
Nice. Only 350 meters to go. Damn. Alright, get the wood, harvest the trees.
We have what
Innovating
we need.
gameplay.
Let's get it delivered.
What is that? What the fuck is that? Ah! What? What happens to all my wood?
Bruh. World of Warships. Pirate Edition. Worst thing ever. They saw Netflix and thought, this is a good idea. Oh boy. Oh, streaming is gonna suck in the future. Absolutely zero companies are going to give us peace. Dude, I can't believe how much is Black Flag right now, in terms of space. I have it down here on 18 gigs, and I downloaded it and actually burned it so that I can save that digitally. Because Ubisoft, I can't trust the store anymore. If I could back up the rest of my games, I would have done the same thing. But, ugh, the fact that Black Flag is so much better than this is shameful. No, not on Steam. I have it on Uplay, but I also have a physical, a digital copy that I burned down. It's just bad, man. Ubisoft should feel ashamed for doing this. And this is all the while they are firing the staff. Ryosaki 32. Hey Jack, I'm planning on going to Copenhagen soon. Do you have some recommendation perhaps? Oh. Well, sure. So, and if you go to Copenhagen, the place that you need to, well, basically take a walk from is Nordport Station. So I think it's, how many stops is it from the airport? Hold on. If I can show you Google Images in a little bit of Nordport Station. It's literally my favorite place to be. Well, basically, that was the end station that I used to take whenever I went to university, and from where I used to bike. If I didn't pull one of the greatest moves of all times, which was biking 40 kilometers to school. I would do that on the summer, because sometimes I felt like it. No, it's truly because I was riding fixie for a long time, and I met some people, as cyclists do, who would bike those long distances, and man, that's how we make friends. So yeah, a Copenhagen station. Well, when you stop from the airport, there are at least like 4 stops from there. Nordport station. If you want to have a hotel or any place to stay, I recommend taking that station. From there, you can walk to basically any good attraction, from museums to, well, I'm just gonna be citing like nerdy places that you could visit, but basically that spot. It's up to you to actually figure it out, because part of the charm of visiting Denmark is very much, at least Copenhagen at least, is very much just finding things out on your own. But I recommend, as an access point, stopping at Nørreport station. And the word, it's spelled like this, just so that you don't get confused. Oh, hold on. And Nørreport station. It's freaking nice. Yeah, you're gonna take the metro, get up there, and, well, you can borrow bikes or everything that you want. Hey there, Shirk. Alright, we're gonna do some Internet Historian or Incognito mode in a moment. If I could find one of the edits that I used to do, well, you might find it on my Instagram if you seek me on social media. But there was a time when biking to Copenhagen, I would like be recording a lot of my trips there. Yeah, well, look at something like this. This is okay. Young me. This was not the point I was trying to show you. So basically, from university, I would just like bike from there past hospitals, and obviously it's Copenhagen. The climate is this way sometimes, even during the summer. So bring an umbrella, it's important. Or you can also go to Roskilde, as Ocean Prince is pointing out. It's a beautiful place as well. Yes, you can get to see the Viking ships at Roskilde Fjord, the the sea over there. You can take the ferry and everything. It's also pretty cool. Yeah, let's turn this down. Yeah, it's a bike city, so perhaps that would be your mode of transportation, or just walking is also nice. So you decide. I'm too American-brained to comprehend this. Well, you can see everybody has it. Kids have it the best. They travel in those. They don't have to waste the energy. The weather will make you commit suicide? Hold on. Then I have to find I have to find a bit more, one with a bit more sunshine then. That's not all the time during the summer. It was just illustrative a little bit. I mean, as another example, hold on, where do I have it? I can't even launch this. That's so dumb. Well, like some stupid edit that I made sometimes. Basically how it will look like during the summer then, when I will bike to school. Like super early in the morning, then with the race bike, I will take like the metro to our main station and then ride from there all the way to school. Now this is pleasing. The streets are almost empty because obviously it's early in the morning, but yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Anyways, let's get back to it. So the internet historian dropped a new video. I think was it yesterday? Yeah, it was. On incognito mode, even fancier on drinking. The last one that we saw was on wine, and that was quite fun. This one is, well, just about drinking in general, so let's see what cultures this might have to do with. I might not know much here, so just as a warning. In here, the weather put you in the coffin. It's +2 after a long cold season. Man, the weather is nice here at the moment. I love it. I am not complaining anymore. The winter depression is over.
Brought to you by Incogni. Alright, we've done theatre, we've done painting, we've done wine, and now it's time to do some drinking stuff in general. And to start, let us learn about the drinking cultures of the world. Welcome to my private jet. Come on,
Oh,
kid, I got a...
apologies. Hold on. I can see that the sound was low once more. That was my bad.
Brought to you by Incogni. Alright, we've done theatre, we've done painting, we've done wine, and now it's time to do some drinking stuff in general. And to start, let us learn about the drinking cultures of the world.
Hold on. Oh my god. I pointed something out. Yeah, I uploaded that video yesterday on the Seth video that we have a vegan arc going on here. So my lovely girlfriend made this drink to me. This is 30% 30% apple, 30% carrot, and the rest is a bloody ginger. She's trying to kill me. I almost freaking spit it out. So I needed to sip it slowly. I didn't. Mistakes. Oh, it's hot.
Welcome to my private jet. Come on, kid, I got a lot to teach you about the world. We must learn all of the drinking customs of all the funny foreign places.
Germany?
Starting with where drinking was invented.
Oh.
The country of Uck.
UK. Oh,
The
yeah.
trick is to jump just before you hit the ground. Observe British people in their natural habitat. Here they do a thing called cheers, where they clink their glasses together before drinking. The tradition dates back centuries, but the origin, why they started doing it, is somewhat unknown. But we have a couple of theories.
The
Theory
big
one,
pussy.
poisoning. Yes. So imagine a situation like this. Two people who don't trust each other, sitting down together at the pub. This guy then does something shady to the other guy's drink.
Wow.
Here you go. Did you poison my drink?
No, don't
I
be
would
silly.
never. Well then, I'll pour a little of mine into yours, and you can pour a little of yours into mine, and we'll both either be totally fine or both totally dead. No, there's no need to do that. So that was the initial version, and then eventually they just kind of shortcutted it to, yeah, clink clink, it's fine, I trust you. But
Perhaps.
that's probably a myth. So, theory number 2, ghosts. Right, in the Middle Ages, people were worried about spooky ghosts and spirits.
Okay.
So they'd do cheers very loudly to scare away the demons. Also,
Hey,
sometimes...
hold on. What game is this? Is that Deliverance? It looks like it.
You'd spill some of your drink onto the table and the floor, and then that was like a little offering to the spirit.
Okay.
But that's probably also not true. The most likely answer is simply that everyone likes that sound. It's very satisfying.
Jesus.
There's more. You know when someone drops a glass and everyone goes kind of silent, like, oh, you fucking idiot? Well, in the UK, instead, everyone goes, way, in celebration, as a way to make fun of you, but also make you feel not so bad.
Another.
Uh-oh. The BBC? They have a whole organization for that now? We gotta get out of here. We'll take my private cruise ship. Come, to England,
okay,
where they
thanks.
filmed the Mario movie. Let me just park this here.
Chat, is this actually real?
Come this way to the Leaning Tower of Pizza.
Yeah.
Held up by the raw strength of 1,000 tourists posing for photographs. But did you know that Italians, when they say cheers, say chin chin?
No. Don't they say... Yeah, okay, yeah, he's right here at the bottom. Salute. Yeah, yeah, I've heard chin chin before, but saying salute, I think, is a bit more common. In the same way that now the Portuguese cousins will say, well, a little bit separated, the Spain in between, but they say saúde. So yeah, kind of the same thing.
Now, that is very funny to the Japanese, because in Japanese, chin chin
Penis.
means penis.
Yeah.
Germany next. Now here they do Bruderschaft,
Yeah.
where you link your arms together when drinking. It's also kind of
Bruderschaft.
seen all over the world at weddings in particular, but only the Germans have a name for it. It symbolizes the end of formalities between two people. But
The best way of doing it is with Das Bierboot. Oh my god, this makes me this takes me back when I was like 16 or something. Back when I drank. I had like a period of 2 years where I actually drank, like between 16 and 18. Because a thing that is traditional here is that once you become 16, you either go get a confirmation if you are Christian or a non-formation. Now, I was not specifically Christian, but like we were traditionally Christian, and my mom insisted that I would get a confirmation. So obviously we did, and from that point on, you're kind of like allowed to drink. The thing that we say is that you enter the stage of adulthood. So yeah, you start behaving like an adult, which apparently in Denmark involves drinking. So we love to partake in our beverages. And from that point on, it's just downhill. Many tend not to recover until they reach like the age of 30. Let's be totally honest here, guys. For the Danes in the audience, we drink a lot. And there's 21, of course, when you're American. So you guys are a little bit behind. We get to drink 2 years before we turn 18, and at 18, or actually 17 and a half, we can take a driving license. So, yeah.
Germans have a lot more. Now, when you clink glasses together with someone, you have to look them directly in the eye.
Jesus.
And if you don't do it, you will be cursed with 7 years of bad sex, apparently. It's not my fault. It's the Germans. Then when doing shots in Germany, they sometimes also go Zermit, and you hold the glass near your belly.
That's all.
Zertit,
Or
and you hold it near your chest. And then Zumsack, and you hold it near your, and then Zak, and you drink. Now, on to Finland. They keep it casual.
Hey,
They have a
the
custom
jumping on the
specifically
sofa.
for drinking alone. You're supposed to do it while loafing around in your underpants, and it's called Kalsari Kani.
I've seen those a lot. Funny enough, I did promise, and I'm sorry that I'm late with it, but it is cooking. My summer car video will be coming next month, I promise. And during that one, I went through a bunch of stories about Finland, and actually some interesting one on racing, but I stumbled on those. They're freaking hilarious. The Finnish people, that's why they're the most happy in the world. They're so carefree.
Also known as underwear drunk. Alright, that's all I could find on Finland. So off to Canada. To get there,
By the way, I am not saying that drinking is the best thing in the world, okay? Drink in moderation if you ever want to engage in those. Just want to make it clear. Some alcoholic Olympians might be joining the chat and being like, yeah, brother, you're one of us. I'm sorry. I'm not.
I booked us a private fishing trawler. It's so exclusive that even these fish, yes, they go to a private school.
Bruh.
In Newfoundland, Canada, they have the Newfoundland Screech. You take a shot of Screech, and then you do the Screech. Goes like this.
Is you a screecher? And then you answer like this. Deed I am, me old cock, and long may your big jib jaw. That's it.
It's a pirate culture. Then they take a big fish, usually a cod, and they kiss it on the lips.
I'm sorry, what?
Anyway, I'm kind of busy, so there's no more customs anywhere in the world. You can do some more, maybe independent research yourself. I'll see you back in the field.
Are you serious? Some pirates thought that what? He encountered a mermaid or something and was like, "Aye, that sweet old lass. She might be a boss, but..." Okay, I'm not gonna finish that sentence. Jeez. Hold on. Answering something real quick. All right. I feel attacked. What? Oh, we have a. So what's the word then when you're Canadian? What do you call it? A Mabel bro? That fish make me act up.
This next section is on cocktails. So it all started when we made this asset where the IH character, he's shaking a cocktail at a frat party, and I turned to the editor and I went, wait a minute, that's a weird word. Why are they called cocktails? And we started Googling it, and we kind of went down a rabbit hole, and it was actually really interesting. So, here it is.
Hazy fire.
Cocktails. In the 1700s, fuel prices were outrageous. So, everybody used the horse.
Horse.
Now, horses weren't just used for travel, they were also used for work in the field.
Oh, Nox. Started pronounced right. Nox. Interesting. Because we have Kiwis, we have Oibrovs, and then we have Nox. Oh, well, nee, hold on. Yeah. Canadians, Australians, Brits. Good.
Fields. So you would sometimes put a harness on a horse for plowing a field, right? Now,
Oh,
when you do that, it's
I see. The tail. Right.
tail actually
Like
gets
that
in the
of a
way,
Coke.
and so we have to do something about that thing.
Cut it off.
Think of it like the foreskin of the horse. You put it in the guillotine, and everybody closes their eyes. Problem solved. Now, this practice is called docking. It has a different meaning these days. So once the tail is docked, some say it's much easier to clean. But it also kind of looks like a chicken's tail, right?
Yeah.
Hence, they would call these tails cocktails. So that's step 1 in the story. Step 2. You've also got horse merchants, right? And they are a very shrewd bunch. They know that when they sell their horses, the customer wants very feisty and energetic animals. Someone who's buying a horse doesn't want one that's kind of sickly, or lazy, or sleeping all the time, right? They need it for work. So how do you ensure, then, that your horse looks full of beans, moxie, and some other stuff, and has the maximum horsepower possible when it's time to sell? Well,
I'm still infuriated by the fact that the unit of measurement of a horsepower is not just a single horse. Like a horsepower is actually 5 horsepower. It's like, who made these units? Why? Have I ever heard of Michael Reeves? Okay. Terminally online brain here. You mean the YouTuber? Or who are we talking about? The guy with the goldfish. Michael Reeves. Do I have to look it up? Okay, I'm gonna look it up. Michael Reeves. Yeah, this guy. Because this guy I know. He entered the YouTube boxing thing and he's actually pretty good at programming.
they would use this one quick hack. All the equestrians hate him. They would go over to their mortar and pestle, and they would throw in some chili, some ginger, and a few other spices, and just mix it all together. Then they would go over to the horse, hold still, little fella, and with the mixture go up into the no-no area. Now, the horse doesn't like that very much, so it's kicking, it's going mad, and the bidders are all going, wow, this is a really great horse. It's got some...
No! No! Oh, God. Okay, so... To be fair... Giving people suppositories, as well as animals, and also enemas, yeah, you heard that right, were very popular at the time. Actually, they made it all the way to the early 1900s. One of the biggest proponents of those kind of practice was none other than a funky Henry Kellogg. Listen, if you're American, and there are certain practices in your life that you think are pretty fucked up, trace them all the way back to the dude who made the freaking cornflakes. I swear to God, I read part of his biography, I'm not done with it. The man is a fucking menace. I can't believe that so much of the customs in the US are based on that dude. We should check a video on him at some point. Maybe not today, perhaps on another stream. It'll be hilarious to talk about him. But yeah, suppository chili on a horse, that's kind of feels like animal abuse, because it pretty much is. But, whew.
Some spunk, I tell ya. I'm buying it. So the horse merchants made a whole bunch of money. And everyone was happy. Well, almost everyone.
Let's put it this way. The reason as to why circumcision is more or less still practiced, beside even outside of religious reason in the US, is basically because of Henry Kellogg. He wanted to stop people from masturbating. That was one of his biggest purpose, and one of the ways that he wanted to do that through was to getting people on a vegan diet. vegetarian diet, not vegan. To be more precise, vegetarian diet. Actually, one of the reasons why he went with cornflakes or cereals. Yeah. Dude had a Dementor in him.
The end of step 2. Now step 3. Around the same time, you've got bartenders over in the saloon, and they have just invented the science of mixology. They've realized that you can add Red Bull and lemon juice to stuff and actually make alcohol not taste so bad. But when they added some ginger and spices and maybe a little bit of pepper, people went, oh, I know these. These are those horse suppositories. Cocktails, we'll call them. Glug, 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 glug. And the name stuck. Do you think it's too early for ad time? I don't think it's too early for ad time. Oh no, help me, Incogni Man. I signed up for discounts at a retail store and they won't stop sending me messages. Huh? I signed up to that website years ago. Why are they still spamming me?
That would be my doing. I am database man.
What? Oh, he's not Nord anymore.
It's me, Incogni Man. Incogni is the brilliant service that tells a whole bunch of databases and people who have your data and stuff to get fucking lost. It says, hey, do you have this email address? Well, lose it. Hey, marketer man, you can't use this phone number anymore. Instead of chasing them all up manually by signing up to Incogni, they send these legal requests on your behalf. To get...
I like the fact that despite him not advertising for Nord, he still goes hard with it. But this is a bit more fitting though, for incognito mode, actually.
You deleted from the internet.
Let us do battle in my realm.
And then we teleport to the desert.
I better follow him. Incogni portal.
Good of you to finally join us.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna stop you. Incogni lawyer powers, legal threats, data removal tools, Consumer Privacy Act, data protection regulations, polite yet stern wording.
Wow.
It has created
Get it for
a Gundam. So go to incogni.com/incognito. Sign up today and get 60% off an annual plan. I won't change numbers. I won't change email addresses. I'll just simply take them back. I can feel it working. My phone isn't ringing as often. My email inbox, it's less full with just a whole bunch of shit. And then like the sun, the clouds clear.
My databases are getting too light. I'm floating away.
Wow.
He'll die of the cold eventually.
Pan up and it's Nord Man. He's like, not bad, kid. Not bad at all.
So go to incogni.com/incognito. Sign up today and get 60% off an annual plan.
This man literally has created his own cinematic universe, and we all didn't notice.
Ad over. Have you heard about the latest dangerous trend? It's all over social media. Wine mixed with watermelon. A combination when mixed together makes a deadly poison. Here we are in Argentina with a delicious watermelon. Now let me chase it down with a glass of wine. Okay, it's not true, but it's been a myth in South America for over 100 years that you should never pair wine and watermelon together.
Why?
No one quite knows why, but we dug and we were able to find a single source from an author, Facundo de Genova, and he says in probably Argentina, probably sometime in the 1800s, there was a small Catholic church and everything was great. For a time.
Everything was great.
They grew wine for dinner and watermelon for dessert. Until one day, something bad happened in their idyllic little town. A few men in the village started getting a bit grabby. It was a whole Me Too thing, but it was the first Me Too. It was a Me one. No one quite knows who did what to whom, but it was a big scandal, I tell you. And it kept happening?
Oh no, what's happening to our beautiful village?
They said in their funny foreign accents. Now, presiding over the village was a monastery. So the priests all gathered together at this monastery to figure out what the hell's going on with all this grabbiness.
Yeah, this town sucks now,
said the women folk.
I hope you have the plan to fix this.
Yes, of course we do. But first, we must figure out why the men are becoming so grabby. Come on, guys, think outside the box. We have to find something, anything to blame, except the people who actually did the thing. So the priests began looking at the diets of the people in the village. The priest said aloud. One of the monks proposed a theory. Have you noticed that we grow a lot of grapes here? Yes. And have you noticed that we also grow a lot of watermelon? Yeah. Well, what if, somehow it makes
He had to do it. He had to do it.
The menfolk grabby. That must be it. We must put a stop to this. But how? Well, let's tell them that if they drink wine and eat watermelon, they'll go to hell. Okay, so that's what they did. Hear ye, do not drink wine and then eat watermelon. You'll go to hell. Oh, really? Really? I don't know that. Maybe it's really. And it worked. The assaults suddenly stopped. Hurrah! Although whether that was a coincidence, we don't actually know. Over time, however, the messaging kind of evolved. Because don't mix wine with watermelon isn't exactly a well-known Bible proverb, and people became less religious. So instead of, you'll go to hell, the line changed to, it's poison and you'll die. And in Argentina, in some places, the myth still perpetuates. Now, is there actually any evidence at all?
Of course not.
That pairing wine and watermelon together really causes the mood? Kinda. Watermelon contains an amino acid, arginine, which partially transforms into nitric oxide, and then nitric oxide is a vasodilator. And vasodilators do this.
Yes.
Plus, wine also has polyphenols, and that also helps in the formation of nitric oxide, so double this.
Which is why, people say that it helps one relax as well. So consuming a glass of wine is not a bad thing here and there, but don't drink it too much.
But the effect from nitric oxide is actually very mild. Also, all of these foods have polyphenols and arginine in them as well. So pretty much everything has it. So, no, the effects are likely hugely overstated. So, the moral of the story is...
don't believe in bullshit. There was nothing.
This next section is on wine in the Bible. Sort of. Apologies if we got any details wrong. We mostly kept this section because we liked the pun on Eucharist.
Oh, no. We're getting into that point. The Eucharist myths. Also the Eucharist miracle. That's when? 1700 as well? I think it is. The whole thing with the flesh, the body of Christ from the freaking thing that you get at the altar turning into actual flesh. Yeah. John chapter 2. Or is it John? Oh boy. John 2 or John 4? Bible teacher will be looking at me right now. Don't you know your verses? Used to be a thing that I would remember all the time. Yes, the Eucharist, the Eucharist miracle was an actual event that made the rounds all over the world. It wasn't in the 1700s. What am I talking about? It was a bit later than that. But some priest said that he went on the altar, ate the bread, but it tasted like human flesh. But because the thing literally went through the transfiguration. That's a thing that if you are Catholic, for the most part, they truly believe in a lot of time in actual what's the word I'm looking for here? Well, literalism in the Bible, that every single thing that is said in the Bible is actual literal. So whether people are talking in parables or similitude, fuck that shit. A snake truly talked. A donkey truly talked. Everything that is said there is actually real. A lot of time, at least, it is taken verbatim. So, yeah.
Jumping forward to Jesus. This is his first recorded miracle. So,
John
Jesus
2.
and a whole bunch of his followers
I still
and stuff,
remember.
They are invited to a wedding in Cana. Now, the waiter goes over to serve some guests some wine, and uh-oh.
It's empty.
What do you mean it's empty?
There's no more wine.
No, wait, I've got a plan, says Jesus. Bring me 6 big stone jugs, about 20 to 30 gallons each, and fill them up to the brim with H2O. Now, check out this. And he does the finger thing. And then when they went to pour the water, suddenly it was wine. And it was the best wine that anyone had ever had. And they go, oh, that's pretty good, Jesus. But have you got any other miracles? And he says, yes. Come on, we're going to do a supper. Now, everyone is gathered around, and this is the point at which Jesus reveals, by the way, one of you is very sus. I know one of you will betray me. And he looks at Judas, and Judas is kind of looking away. But then Da Vinci's like,
guys, I need you to stay still for the painting.
Wow.
So Jesus goes, watch this. And he takes some bread and wine, and he says, look at this bread. This is my flesh. And everyone's kind of like, really? And he goes, well, yeah. I mean, if you're Protestant, then just metaphorically. No, okay, look at this wine. It is my blood.
He stated
really? Quit making this so complicated. Here, have some. So he hands it to his disciples, and they went, fantastic. I was peckish and thirsty. And he goes, yes, in fact, I shall call this little celebration a Eucharist, or Holy Communion. It will be the practice of eating one cracker or piece of bread and drinking some wine. And if you eat the whole thing and drink the whole bottle, that's called a huge Eucharist.
Wow.
Now, most Christians today take that as a symbolic thing. Unless you are Catholic. Now, they believe in what's called transubstantiation.
Transubstantiation. Sorry, not transfiguration. That was so far off. Transubstantiation, yes.
Literally turns into the body and blood of Jesus at the moment that they are consumed. However, it does still look like bread and wine, and they call that phenomenon appearance.
Let it be noted, okay? When I'm saying this thing is not to offend any Catholic out there. If you have your faith, please enjoy yourself. I'm always criticizing the scripture sometimes. Well, for the most part. But the idea that you are considered to be a heretic if you do not believe in this being literal is like, dude, really? Really? EU Christ.
Or accident. It has changed, but you just can't tell. Except for sometimes when you actually can. Lanciano, Italy, in the 8th century, there is a monk, and he has been on r/atheism for far too long. He is starting to have doubts about the blood and wine stuff, but he still has his monkly responsibilities. So, he holds Mass, and he says the words of consecration, this is my body, this is my blood, this is my rifle, this is my gun, and at that very moment, the bread turns into literal flesh in his hands, and the wine turns...
Oh, I am so sorry. I said, what did I say? It's 1700s. Well, I was so far off. It was in literally the 8th century. Never mind, I was off with 1,000 years. I remember it completely wrong. Perhaps like I've read that somewhere that obviously a lot of these things are investigated over the years. So it might have been somewhere around that scientists were trying to figure out if what he said was ever true. But yeah, whatever.
Turned to blood.
Jesus, man.
Holy shit, said everybody in unison. And ironically, he went, oh, well, I should probably not eat this then. So instead, he kept it in this chalice thing. What is it?
Yeah.
A clock? Anyway, there it remains still today, kept in the church of San Francesco. And now a couple of years later, in the 1970s, Professor Odaro Leone decides, let me do a bit of an experiment. So he took a sample of the flesh, and he came to the conclusion that it was indeed real. Apparently, it was part of a heart valve, and that the blood type was AB.
Okay.
The sample has not been analyzed since. However, it is officially recognized by the Roman Catholic Church.
Of course it is.
Here ends the reading. Now you might say,
somebody killed someone and pulled their heart in there. That's my theory.
Hey, wow, that section really doesn't have a whole lot to do with wine. And in fact, you're just badly retelling a Bible story.
Dude.
This final section we started making for the main channel when we found this massive court document, and we thought, holy shit, this is a hell of a story. And we had all these ideas of it being like Witcher themed, and so there were...
I'm sorry, I need to read what he wrote there. We lawyers had several cases here taking place over many years, with many different parties involved. I struggle to read anything with big words when my mom isn't around to help me sound each syllable out. All right.
The story. And we had all these ideas of it being like Witcher themed, and so there were quite a few like random Witcher assets, just ignore that. But it just kept blooming and blooming into this bigger story, and it got too long. And so here it is on incognito. And here we begin in 1743. The birth of Thomas Jefferson. Push, Mrs. Jefferson, push.
Founding father.
Jeff, he was involved with some politics, kinda sexy, but you're too late, he's dead. But what's more important is he tried his hand at a lot of different hobbies. Architecture. He designed his own home in Monticello. He played the violin. He kept mockingbirds.
Is it where I start getting a little bit negative because it is Black History Month and start talking about the bad sides of Jefferson? I'm not gonna do that, but it would be fun though to dive into that. But this is not the appropriate video for it.
Collected fossils. And,
he was
most relevant of all, he hoarded a culture.
Yeah, he was very much raised in the Enlightenment movement, so people who started believing less in Christ, one could say, and turned more into observing nature as like source of knowledge and whatever. So I mean, this is of course before the time of many prominent scientists that shaped our world, but him and Benjamin Franklin, who was like his best buddy and later on opposite, or at least political opponent, were pretty much there. But yeah, he was, I wouldn't quite call him a scientist, but he did dabble a lot in, natural observation.
In his extensive garden, he kept 330 types of vegetables and 170 types of fruit. One of those fruits was grapes. So he tried his hand at viniculture. And while he was good at a lot of things, he never saw much success with making wine. So he mostly collected the stuff. Now, people naturally wondered, like, hey, what happened to the wine he made and the wine he collected? Did he sell it all? Did he give it away? Did he attempt the Eucharist? Fast forward 1985. Meet German music producer Hardy Rodenstock. He is an avid wine collector, and he's tapping on the walls of old buildings in Paris looking for some national treasures. On this occasion, the wall opened and, my God. Sealed behind, he said that he found a collection of 24 bottles, dating all the way back to the 1780s, and... look at that. THJ engraved right there on the glass. Thomas Jefferson. It seems like Mr. Rodenstock has stumbled upon Jeff's hidden collection. Mystery solved. And it would make sense that they wound up in France because Jefferson spent a number of years over there. Amazing! And into Rodenstock's wine collection, they went. Now,
I mean, it's only fair. That's true. They might have rejected the British government, but they still loved it. And, well, technically one could say it's not exactly bad to want to be rich, but under which means you attain that is the thing that is kind of questionable. Hamilton didn't. Hamilton didn't? Are we sure about this?
Rodenstock's wine collection was something quite special, and he liked to show it off. So every year he would host tasting events that featured extremely rare wines. And he would invite all the most prominent German celebrities, such as the Hans brothers, and Das Boot, and Death Stranding. Now, one of his guests was a guy named Michael Broadbent, the senior director for Christie's auction house. Together, they cracked open one of the THJ bottles. Bottle number 1. Broadbent said that the wine was delicious. "Yup, these bottles are in perfect condition," he said. "You should really auction these things. I run an auction, you should put them in there." "Huh, maybe I should," said Mr. Rodenstock. "Maybe I should." But before they did that, they sold 2 of the bottles privately, number 2 and number 3, and they drank a 4th. On the 5th of December 1985, they put up bottle number 5 for auction at Christie's. It was bought by Christopher Forbes for £105,000.
What?
Which at the time meant it was the most expensive bottle of wine ever sold. But that wine wasn't to drink. Proudly, that thing sat on the Forbes shelf, eventually to be put into the Forbes Gallery in the exhibit on former presidents.
Holy shit.
And funnily enough, they actually put this bottle on display under big industrial lights, and it heated the thing something fierce, and the heat ruined its drinkability.
Of course.
In fact, so intense was the light that the glass expanded and the cork fell into the bottle.
Idiots. What do you think that they're kept in... Oh my god, in darkness. At a moderate temperature. What were they thinking?
Some time passed. They celebrated the sale with another drink. Bottle number 6, now gone. And then they sold 2 more privately. In 1987, they drank bottle number 9. In 1988, they drank bottle number 10. And at this point, a new challenger enters the scene. The White Wolf of Palm Beach. They call him Bill Koch. Some say it's short for billionaire. He's a member of one of the wealthiest families in America. And he is also...
Wait. Oh no, that's how the Koch brothers got ahead through wine? Ugh. Like, seeing the Koch brothers everywhere is never a good sign. It's them, the freaking Getty... Yeah, the Koch brothers are the ones who literally have their hands in every museum, aren't they? Let me see. Let me double check this. Yeah. Yeah, it's them. Like every conglomerate museums in the world, at least not every single one, a lot of them, sees them, their influence there. It's so annoying.
One of the world's most avid collectors of wine. So, they sell him a total of 4 bottles for $311,804. We're way over here on the graph at this point. So, gently, careful now, he put them in his climate-controlled cellar. And he would show them off to his friends. Otherwise, here they remained for the next 17 years. As the years ticked by, more bottles were sold and more bottles were consumed, until there were none left. 2005. The 4 Coke bottles had sat around for a long time on the shelf, doing nothing, when something new happened.
Okay.
The Boston Museum of Fine Arts was interested in displaying the bottles and wanted to trace the exact provenance. So Coke gets on the line with the Jefferson Foundation and he goes, "Oh, look, I don't mean to brag, but I'm about to have my bottles displayed at the Boston Museum. But I need just a little bit of verification. Could you tell me exactly where these bottles come from?" And the Thomas Jefferson Foundation responded, "I'm afraid we can't do that. We don't think they're real."
Oh.
Yeah. In fact, you're not the only person to call about this.
God damn.
What? Yes, it was in the 80s. A Mr. Broadbent, I believe, of Christie's auction house called up trying to verify the bottles so that he could sell them. But we looked through our comprehensive historical records and found no mention of these bottles. Here's a letter we sent saying that we couldn't verify them. And they're probably fake. But he sold those bottles to me.
Yeah. Lawsuit.
Now, back to 1776. Now here's a thing you should know about Jefferson. Let's just say if he was around today, he would play a lot of Factorio. He was, you know.
I have the largest play.
Yeah, some of those factories that he made had child labor now. Small slave children, child labor, that were all the way down to 10-year-old. Now, many people tend to say that, oh, he grew up in that time where child labor was totally normal, so that was fine. Yeah, okay. Just because it was a different time back then doesn't make it right, okay? In the same way that he too wanted to free the slaves, yet still own slaves himself. Like, 2 wrongs doesn't make a right.
Collection of Funko Pops in the world.
And that meant that his record keeping was very meticulous. All of his anime was ordered alphabetically, and so too were all the things that he ever purchased.
But one of the things that helps us know a lot about him, though, is that he was pretty good with his bookkeeping. So that's, I guess, it's great.
Including wine. So that's my story, Mr. Pepsi. And those bottles are probably fake. When Coke hears about this, he hangs up the phone and hits speed dial on his pager or something, and I need to assemble a team of investigators. Mr. Rodenstock lived in Germany, so Coke's investigators scoured the countryside for clues.
No, that's... Okay, so I understood that he said that he was making use of Witcher assets. That was fine with the first shot there. That's where they are in... Oh, what's the Witcher stronghold called again? Oh my god, I know this. The Witcher school. Oh, why did I not remember? It's literally in the intro of the first game. Okay, I need to look this up. The Witcher stronghold. Kaer Morhen. Yes. When you're preparing to the Battle of Kaer Morhen in Witcher 3, you get with Escalls and the boys and everybody, and you get yourself wasted. That was good. That made sense. But this is supposed to be French. It has nothing to do with Germany. God damn.
And eventually they found a lead. They managed to track down 5 German residents who claimed to have done engraving work for Rodenstock in the past. They said, "Hey, have you seen these bottles before?" And they went, "Oh yeah, we have. We did those." And all 5 were certain that the THJ engravings were done by an electric power tool. Every one of these 24 bottles of Jefferson wine were fake. Big fat phonies. Allegedly. So, Bill takes all of this evidence to court, and Rodenstock is summoned, but he doesn't show up. So Bill wins in absentia and is awarded $1 million. In the end, Bill never received any money from Rodenstock.
No.
But to Bill, it was about sending a message more than receiving any money.
I'm coming after you.
And it's just one battle of many that Bill has fought against counterfeit wine. In 2008, Coke filed a consumer fraud lawsuit against the Chicago Wine Company, which was later settled out of court. Another time, Coke spent $3.5 million buying nearly 2,700 bottles of wine from Zacky's auction house.
Oh, wow. He went on a vengeance. They triggered him to turn him to a villain just because of one wine bottle.
Almost $250,000 worth was fake. The auction house settled out of court, but the seller was told to pay $379,000 in damages and another $1,000 for every bottle. But then the next day they went, you know what, we thought about it. This jury has decided to award you $12 million in punitive damages. Jackpot, said Mr. Coke, I'm rich. But a year later, the court changed its mind and awarded Coke only $711,000. Okay, so this guy's like a one-man army, and he's going around trying to scare the shit out of anyone who's selling fake wine. Oh, you've got expensive rare wine, do you?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll buy it then. Yeah, but no, yeah, I'll buy it. No, it's fine. It's genuine, is it? Yeah, you're saying it's genuine. Yeah, definitely. And then he goes and he inspects it, then finds it's fake, and then goes, yeah, I knew all along, stupid. Lawsuit time. By doing this, he's very slowly cleaning up the market. After all of these investigations, Bill has spent around $35 million tracking down fake wine.
But by 2016, Coke was ready to lay down his weapons.
He sold off a big chunk of his collection, and it sold for $22 million. Which means he likely did not break even. So consider giving to his GoFundMe.
No. It was about sending a message. That's literally what he said. He doesn't care about the money at this point. Holy shit.
Now, this is actually just a very small part of the story. This scandal ended up making such waves across the wine industry that they decided to make a movie about it, based on the Benjamin Wallace book, The Billionaire's Vinegar. And it was set to star Brad Pitt. No, wait, now it's Matthew McConaughey. No, wait, it looks like it's cancelled.
Oh. Well, that's unfortunate.
Alright, that's the video. Thanks for watching. 4 more to go, but we've already started in on the regular type stuff in case you don't love fancy. Okay.
Fuck me, man. That was nice. A good amount of wine. I would have liked to know a little bit more on beer. Like, for example, the story of Guinness. How did Guinness truly rise to the point where they are now? Or any of the other American companies, for example. That would have been interesting. But wine is also fine, I guess. But yeah, great breakdown. I did not know that about the Koch brothers. I know that they have acquisition for a lot of art, and they too did that. But when it comes to wine, that was completely new to me. But yeah, this was from the Internet Historian on Incognito mode. Make sure to subscribe to his channel to watch more of his stuff. He has plenty of other things. I was actually pondering if I should check the one on the forest there, the thing with Jake Paul. Oh no, not Jake. Logan Paul was the one who went to Japan. Yeah, eventually might do that. Dante and Virgil have a cook-off. Okay. Yeah, sure. Let's give that a look. Oh, Manslayer. Yeah, I haven't checked that one in a while. Give me a moment. We're gonna see the Dante cook-off.
Hello, everybody. My name is Virgil. Welcome to the latest episode of Devil May Cook.
Virgil, why are you announcing it like a game show? It's only us four.
Yeah, nobody's recording us, Pop.
Quiet. I'm very passionate about cooking.
I can't believe I agreed to this.
Dante, I humored you in your attempts at Uno and Connect 4. Least you can do is agree to one round of cooking with me.
Man, cooking's not my thing.
Yeah, I will get into the Genshin a bit later. I think I will have time next week, so I can do some recording to that. It's been a while. I have absolutely no idea where Genshin is at the moment. But sure.
Dante can't cook? Is that why he orders takeout all the time?
Yes. Pizza for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I can hear you too.
Alright. Let the contest begin. May the best chef win.
This kitchen's getting crazy. Let's cook.
Jesus Christ.
So, are we supposed to taste test after, or?
How would I know?
Lady, Nero, provide live commentary.
Seriously? Alright. What dish are you preparing, Virgil?
Why'd you agree to that so easily?
Glad you asked, Nero.
It's his
preparing
dad.
a crust for my berry delight right now.
Berry delight? Seriously? Like your theme song?
Boy, if you don't get out of here.
Precisely. That's why I'm making it. The berry delight will be prepared with pudding on top of this crust, alongside layers of whipped cream and strawberries.
That sounds pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
Of course. What son of Sparta would I be if I had no skill in the culinary arts?
Dante?
Did Sparta cook or something? What are you even saying?
I just like cooking.
Then just say that!
Anyway, once I'm done with the crust, I'll move on to the whipped topping, prepared with cream cheese and milk.
Let's talking more cooking, Virgil.
I like with an RPG on his shoulder.
Dante?
Fried rice.
Of course. A simple dish would work best for you. Who doesn't know how to cook fried rice?
Yo mama.
Oh no. That's no good. It's your mom as well, Dante, but Virgil is very touchy with that subject.
That insult doesn't work. We have the same mom.
Yo, Virgil, can you pass that butter?
No.
What? Seriously? Why?
Because I need the butter for my berry delight, Dante.
Well, I need it for my fried rice, man.
If you want it, Dante, then you'll have to take it.
Fine then. Let's fight.
Dante, there's another stick of butter right here.
Oh, thanks.
Boss
Well,
kill.
alright. Time to cut the onions. Ah! Oh, shit.
Fool.
Dante, you good?
The onions. Oh, shit, my eyes.
Beat by an onion, Dante? You gonna cry, huh?
Ooh. You could say the devil may cry.
This is not fun. This is so dumb.
Ow.
Shut up, Dante.
That was a terrible joke.
Agreed.
Aw, man.
1 hour later.
Behold! Dante's special fried rice.
Yikes.
Dante, why the hell did you put pepperoni on here?
This isn't a pizza, man! Why is there pepperoni?
Hey, I promise you two. It tastes great.
Foolishness, Dante. My little brother stands no chance against my dish. The berry delight. A dessert immaculately served with layers of berries and cream on top of perfect graham cracker crust.
Okay. I really don't care. Let's chit-chat more eating. Give her ear.
How come you're more like your uncle?
Eat up, you two. Then we can decide which one's better.
Well, the answer is obvious. No.
What? Are you a deadbeat dad, Virgil? You still haven't paid for child support.
Oh, it'll obviously be mine.
It's Dante's.
It's Dante's.
How?
Dante's is better.
How?
Somehow the pepperoni works with the rice. It's
How?
It's a good mix.
Jackpot!
No.
You know what? That's progress. Saying jackpot there was like actually justified.
And Berry Delight, Bob? It kind of just tastes...
Boring.
Boring. Like something overpriced you'd buy in a fancy restaurant.
You got?
You have got to be kidding me. You have got to be kidding me. I love Buried Delight. I love that kind of dessert. It's the best.
To eat it for free. How could you taste it being overpriced?
It's snobbish, that's how.
Let's fight.
Let's fight.
Hey, Nero, stop him!
I don't really feel like it.
In the kitchen, I'm the king.
Bruh. Okay, that was a lot of dumb fun. Bro took it personally. He did indeed. I'm gonna check a little bit of Scamboli real quick. Remember last year there was this anime that I covered at least a little bit of called Ghost Stories, the best dub series of all times. Well, it turns out that it wasn't as simple as I thought it was. Because there supposedly is a backstory to it. So Scamboli Reviews has a video on it, not a review. So I want to check that out real quick. I'm checking out older Fat Electrician videos. Actually, I have two that I watched that I am editing. At the moment, I ended up going on a bit of a long tangent, so I have to condense some of the stuff that I said in those Fat Electrician reactions. So, yeah. Look forward to some of those tomorrow. I have no idea of what fried rice with pepperoni will taste like. It doesn't sound appetizing to me. But perhaps just me. I'm not a fan of pepperoni. And not even on pizza. I know. Guess what? I'm one of those heretics who will put pineapple on pizza.
Eons ago, in a land far more based and discriminatory, there existed an anime that millions of young Japanese children were excited for. It was an adaptation of a classic series that was being produced by the team behind Naruto, Bleach, and more. But upon release, tragedy had struck. The anime was garbage. The whole thing was a catastrophe. So the Japanese heads behind the show grew desperate. They scrambled to turn a profit of the show. If only we could sell it to America. They tried selling off the show to all the American distributors. However, the show was so bad, no one buys it. They approached Genion, Central Park Media, ADV, ADV, and by the third try, negotiations had a breakthrough. All right, we'll sell it to you guys, and you can do whatever you want with the dub. You said what now? You guys can do whatever you want with the dub. Change what people say, whatever. I want to make fun of Mexicans. I don't think I said I want to make fun of Mexicans, Persians, gays, blacks, Asians, especially Asians. Matter of fact, I've been waiting for someone to say something like this. Get your pen out. Sold. As long as they didn't.
Yeah. What we're watching is the true story behind Ghost Stories. The most offensive anime dub ever. Yes. Yes, it's Ghost Stories. Let's go.
and change the names of the characters or the method that they kill ghosts, ADV could do anything they wanted, leading to perhaps the earliest example of an abridged series. It was edgy, unscripted, nonsense, but most of all, it was funny.
Oh, perfect. It's in Japanese. Jing Chao Nao Ning Tao. Wait, that's Chinese.
An official English dub of this nature is something we'll probably never see again. That's what everybody believes about the show, but it might all be bull spread through a maze of misunderstandings. Stephen Foster at the time was the ADR director of ADV. They basically convert Japanese script into another language. The key here is that Stephen is known for fucking around with this process.
Mekazawa worries about you more than anybody else.
You don't give this man unlimited freedom. They did. And Stephen went to work on the script. Ghost Story's entire script basically didn't exist. Stephen just made shit up. Like a boss, that's how I do my scripts. Notice how I don't cite sources? Then came rolling in the voice actors, and they had some real heat entering the studio. Vic Mignogna, Greg Ayers, I hate that guy's voice, Monica Rial, this lady, Chris Patton. The roster was stacked. So with all this talent, the process for making dubs evolved. There was a screen that they would read with the script, but here's where the magic happened. Whoever came to the studio first would do or say whatever they wanted, and the rest of the team had to work with it.
Shinobu, you don't look so good.
Run! She's
a ghost in a bitch.
Everyone wanted to top each other and be funnier than the last.
Holy shit. I love this so much. Think of a big black man chasing you. Well, at least he's not racist. Oh man. It was an amazing show. She's a ghost and a bitch. Like those lines remain with you for so many years. That's the beauty of a bridging.
Unique process completely overhauled the characters, the plot, everything, and it somehow worked. Monica's character, originally a fearless psychic, well, she had a questionable past and then turned to Jesus.
Before I met Jesus, I was really f***ed up. No, and a slut.
It's just like real life. They gave the cute little brother a learning disability.
That is so awesome. You'll risk your own life to save your little brother.
The nerd character became a frugal Jew stereotype, and the voice actors would commit to these bits so hard. But I can talk about this all day, who cares? Let's actually watch. Ghost Stories is centered around 6 main characters, but the main one is named Satsuki. Satsuki and her brother are moving into their dead mom's old neighborhood. It starts off extremely tame. She meets a bunch of neighborhood kids stumbling into an abandoned school facility. But this is a haunted story after all. Thanks to the voice actors, things finally get scary.
You're such brave, strong, handsome men. Have you accepted Jesus as your personal savior?
No, I'm Jewish.
I just want to make sure that...
frightened. Oh yeah, and the statue moves so they all freak out or whatever. Then all the characters get tormented by haunted stuff. Talking dogs. Scissors. It's called Ghost Stories because every episode is a story about a different ghost. This time we face Amanajaku. He haunts people. Just because. But it turns out Satsuki might have the key to stopping him.
Yeah, Satsuki's dad was a pervert. That's true.
Principals always look like lesbians.
No, wrong key. Huh.
Mom? No.
Satsuki's mom was a ghost hunter of some sort, and all the ghosts sealed away years ago are escaping. Luckily, she left a book behind detailing how to seal them back up. So they do it, and the big scary ghost gets sealed inside their cat. That's pretty much how every episode plays out. A ghost appears, the team spends half the episode finding excuses for them to not immediately pull out her mother's diary and exorcise it, seal the ghost, rinse and repeat. So you can easily see why the cast decided to change some stuff around. I'm sure you didn't notice, but Satsuki's mom isn't actually a lesbian that Momoko met at a gay conversion camp. That was improv. This part...
Have you accepted Jesus as your personal savior?
...was actually this. While on the first episode they clearly tried to maintain some of the original plot, each episode falls further into madness. Here's the first 3 minutes of episode 9.
She greases more palms than you know who. We need more weirdos like her in this school. She's like a Mexican doing all the jobs white people don't want.
She has no friends, but...
The story about a girl missing her dead pet becomes a story about a girl her rabbit.
When he died, I was so sad that I would never hear that voice again. His laugh. His funny little requests.
Touch me.
His reprimands.
Touch me harder.
I had to bring it back to life!
One episode, the dad gets his bitten off by a doll. Here's Ketchiro ranting about how hot Raven from Teen Titans was. So obviously, this man isn't nearly as as they all say. Ghost Stories can seem chaotic as a bystander, but a strange cohesion forms as you watch. The plot about Satsuki's mom being gay gets worked back into the plot as if it were all planned.
The best improv does this stuff. Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Curb Your Enthusiasm, among others.
You end up with some really genuine moments. So many jokes call back to events that were happening at the time, like Hurricane Katrina, George Bush being evil. It does sometimes end up being the Gex of anime.
Someone call Canada. We need Alanis Morissette.
The fuck is an Atlantis thermostat?
Dated references aside, the candor from the voice actors bleeds into the show. They talk like us normal people. One episode they actually said the dollar store.
I don't know why they feel the need to use generic names in TV shows.
You'd be like, oh, the dollar president, Dollar Tree. No, bro, it's the dollar store. Look at this guy. He talks just like me.
You stupid, selfish slut!
The characters had me rolling, so before I talk about why this stuff is important, I want to... My favorite episode is centered around a poor, severely mentally handicapped child, much like myself and SpongeBob. Ketchiro gets convinced to join the track team to gain some confidence in himself. The issue is also the best part of the episode. Every single character is a terrible person. They're constantly putting this poor kid down while training him in genius ways.
Let's go.
Think of a big black man chasing you! Well, he's not racist.
A scary ghost begins running beside Ketchiro, and suddenly his time is 2 seconds faster. But everything isn't all good. The arrival of the ghost stirs up all sorts of spooky misfortune. And the worst part, the principal is considering canceling the sports festival because of it.
You can't cancel the festival. One little retarded boy has his heart set on this thing.
That's right. Wait, what? Elsewhere. Ketchiro begins bonding with the ghost.
I really enjoyed running with you today. Don't you have any money for shoes? Did the Crips beat you up and take yours too?
Yes, you heard that correctly. It is now canon that Ketchiro was beaten up by the Crips and had his shoes stolen. The ghost reveals that he had a friend who ran track. He wasn't good, just like Ketchiro, but he gave it his all. And the poor kid was hit in a car accident before he could even compete. Elsewhere, we find out that Ketchiro's ghost friend is a goat that chops off little boy feet and keeps them, and it'll happen if Ketchiro runs at the sports festival. So no one truly gives a shit. They don't give Ketchiro a heads up or anything until the last moment. When they get trapped, the ghost reveals his evil plot and heads right for Ketchiro.
What do you mean? Oh, with regards to him not producing new videos. Yeah, I noticed that his latest one was like a year old. I don't know, perhaps he's busy with new things. I tried checking out his other sites, but yeah, nothing to show for. That's unfortunate. I hope he comes back.
Takes his last retarded little breaths and tells the ghost that he's going to win that race for his dead friend. And that was very touching to me for some reason, even though it probably wasn't supposed to be. I'm glad the episode could end on a good note.
A car accident. Must have been hit by an old Chinaman.
Oh yeah. The show is... Ghost Stories will always have a legendary status in the anime community because there will never be something in this form again. It's terrifying to people born in 1999 and after. There's the F word.
You're a
The R word.
Stupid ghost made it rain? That's
It is a matter if you and I, or the majority of people watching this video, think these jokes are funny and refined. Do you think these dork big shots will allow a rogue team to make completely unregulated dubs on their paychecks? Forget the corporations. Most famous people in general apologize for jokes just like these. Not because they actually feel bad, but because they want to remain the #1 guy. Or their demographic is young teens that seek the satisfaction of drama but don't have the friend groups to actually satisfy that desire, so they copy their values and
I need this.
On this topic, Monica Rial said, "This show's whole purpose was to make everyone angry. We wanted to be equal opportunity offenders. To me, this demonstrates that there really is no malintent with the edgy humor. That's not too dissimilar with what I do in my own videos. You want everyone to laugh at each other's and themselves. I respect that style, Monica. Bitch." Whoa, okay, I thought this was women's turn this week. Anyways, these white... In doing my research, everyone's story was consistent. Ghost Stories was originally a terrible anime that no one wanted. After the hilarious dub, the anime started doing so well the Japanese even took rights back to ride that wave of success. Monica Rial, Greg Ayers, Vic Mignogna, and Stephen Foster will all tell you this. No, not him. Anyone but that man. Annie Mayer.
Please don't keep perpetuating these falsehoods. Ghost stories did just fine in Japan. AV simply didn't have a lot of oversight from the Japanese IP holders.
Of course, there's always one dude. See, sometimes I always yearn to know the truth of certain things. But if I know that the lie doesn't harm anybody and that it's a lot more fun, let's keep it at that sometimes. Come on, man.
You have a source for that? Do you have a source for me being wrong?
So I brushed it off for a little while, and I encountered this idea again and again. Maybe almost every YouTube video is wrong about this whole thing. Here's the other side. Ghost Stories was actually a classic novel series written in the 80s. This story was so poppin' they had tons of spin-offs.
Oh, they had a movie, an actual live action. So it might have done well in Japan. Okay, so, well, never mind.
Action adaptation did especially well. So when the 2000 anime finally came out, there's evidence of it performing higher than Dragon Ball and even Pokemon at the time, with average viewer ratings of 12 to 14%. They even dropped a special episode after the show was concluded. Do they normally do that for shows that bomb? Among other evidence, it became unlikely that Ghost Stories actually performed as bad as they made it out to. So where does this idea come from? Well, it kinda all circles back to the one guy I mentioned earlier.
He made it all up so that he could get the chance to get all free. Oh my god, he's a villain. He's an actual villain.
Stephen Foster, who changed his name to Steve7N, but I'll keep pronouncing it Stephen, as I do not know how to pronounce the 7. Stephen is known for really messing with dubs.
Do not let Stephen Foster touch anything else.
And I mean, really messing with his dubs.
Stephen Foster, fuck it, and just flips a table and just says fuck it, desync about like a half a second.
He changes key elements of the characters.
And I want to kill something.
The tone.
Stop, please.
He lets the voice actor say whatever feels most natural, even.
No way. Is he responsible for the dub for this show? I raised this man a glass, okay? He has made me laugh. At least I can give him that. He might be trash, but he is refined trash.
Even if it doesn't fit the lip flaps.
I can't enjoy the series when you f up my immersion by f***ing up the dub.
He's so known for doing this stuff, it has a name. Fosterizations. Normally one would reflect and be like, huh, maybe I am changing up the anime too much. Stephen loves fosterizations. He even uses the term in his book. He also loves to boast about ghost stories. Twitter bio, I am a legend. His website, 4 trillion, 8 quintillion, chucklenut trillion people think it's the best dub ever produced. And while on one hand it's like, yeah, come on, it was pretty good. On the other, it leads us to this lady's theory. Stephen Foster, the guy who's known for tweaking dubs to his own liking, wanted the freedom of his own dub. He lied about Ghost Stories performing poorly. He lied to Vic, Monica, Greg, and the entire world to get this dub done. I don't buy that at all. Few men in history control at such a level. I heard him speak a little on a podcast, and the dude is chill. He's proud of Ghost Stories, as he should goddamn be, and I think he has this dad thing going on where he's not entirely self-aware, so a lot of what he says can be interpreted as snobby over text. He's also mad gay, so he's allowed to make those jokes earlier. I mean, he worked hard. It would be bigoted for me to not laugh at him. What I think is far more likely is this. A company called Animax actually did their own English dub way before this one. It was completely normal. You know what? These dubs are actually quite similar. It's likely that this English dub did perform shittily, so they began talks with ADV. It was common at the time to throw in an anime for free during bulk deals. It makes sense that Ghost Stories, which ADV wasn't charged a licensing fee for, was that free anime. So the middleman in all this is thinking of what to do with this damn show, and he realizes there's only one man who can do the dub, Stephen Foster. To their knowledge, there's already been an English dub, the show performed poorly, and there are extremely loose guidelines for localizing. It makes perfect sense that ADV would be like, Steven, we need you to do what you do best. Fuck this up for us. And it turned out amazing, and the rest is history. Or none of that happened. I wasn't there. There's a ton of evidence pointing towards the show doing well in Japan. We can glean parts of Steven personalities and so on, but we might never know for sure what happened. If you'd like more information on this topic, I've stolen a lot of points from Mercury Falcon. Check it out. Or check me out. I reply to comments. I make videos about manga, anime, whatever this is. Thanks for watching. But before I leave, a message from Nord, our sponsor. Last night I was up at like 6 a.m. trying to download some important files. The size wasn't big, but it was telling me it'd take an hour to download. So I'm here tired, wanting to go to sleep, looking at the download bar saying, work!
Dude, if your internet says an hour for 2.1 megabyte, sue. You should sue your internet providers. Nah.
You piece of shit. Why does everything around me not work? This is a direct quote. Then it hit me. And then it hit me. Oh, my internet service provider is stealing from me again. You're probably paying $40, $50, even $100 for internet every month. But that doesn't stop your ISP from throttling your internet.
Joe.
This is when they deliberately restrict your bandwidth or speed without telling you. When I realized that was happening, I pressed the connect button on Nord and watched my download time drop from 36 minutes to 3. The best part? I'm not even lying. My friend was there. I'm paying him to edit this ad. See? Don't mind how untrustworthy he looks. But that's not all a VPN is useful for. You can enter sketchy websites with a thick layer of security. You can bypass IP bans, say a service isn't available in your country. Now, you didn't hear it from me, but with advanced cyber assistance from Nord, you can disguise your internet connection to make it look like you're from any one of the countries that Nord has servers in. So if that sounds appealing, you can click my own special link that will secure you a big discount on NordVPN. Thanks for watching. See ya.
And now we know. Oh, okay. The dude was a legend. A few years back wanted me to install Elden Ring Horse, a game for 20 gigs. Wait, what? 2.5. Nah. Aaron the bro, thanks. glad that I could inspire you. I hope that you end up making some good gains. Oh, what's this? Oh no, what is Japan doing now? Okay, this is kind of old. Where was this guy when I needed a drummer in our band? Hold on. That was so good. Of course. Oh my god. I like you can even predict the moves. He's a freaking pro. He or her, I don't know. But definitely overqualified for the job. Oh my god. This is so good. Wow. Holy shit. I have no idea how the temperature must be inside that suit. But this man, or whomever, was on absolute fire. Jesus, that was good. Better pay him higher. He need a raise. Listening to this while playing Helldivers 2. It's different. I still haven't got to play Helldivers 2 again. For those of you who remember, when the game first came out, I did not get to play it because of server issues. But this should be fixed now, so I might give it a try. Oh, additionally, some stuff here from the list. I've noted the Gears video as well as the Zeus one. You have, but I have a video here from Game Ranks. This is a channel that I watch sometimes. They have some good lists once in a while. These are 10 games with infinite replayability that we can't stop playing. This sounds interesting. Managed democracy. Yeah, I did see the commercial. Not the commercial, but it's the intro to Helldivers. It's so much fun. I like that. I like that line because that's exactly how it would be. It's like Starship Troopers but on steroids. Transformers Dark Side of the Moon trailer is... Wait, what? That movie already came out, right? I've seen that before. Gears of War is like 40k with Grim Dogs. I guess a bit. Yeah, Dark Side of the Moon. That's an old ass movie. I don't know why you mentioning checking out that I should check the trailer made it sound like they made a remake or something. Oh, but somebody did mention something here. A One Punch Man Season 3. The trailer for it? Oh boy. Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. I'm hyped. I am hyped.
彼はリミッターが外れていた。どんなに努力を重ねても生物の成長には制限が設けられている。強力すぎる力は持ち主に負担がかかり不具合を生じさせる。あるいは品性を失った怪人のように暴走を起こすこともある。
Okay, the animation seems bad. No, sorry. I really hope they improve it.
それがリミッターだ。だが彼は違った。平凡な出生、平凡な生活、何の素質も持たないただの一般人。それが努力のみで限界の扉をこじ開け、リミッターを破壊した。
Yep. Oh, that guitar. it's evil. God, it sounds good. That's it. Oh, come on.
アニメ「ワンパンマン第3期」制作進行中。
Okay. In progress. That's fine. That's fine. But okay, I thought that they were about to announce that it is coming soon or something. But good enough. Yeah, I hope that they get the time that they need to make this as good as it's supposed to be. Because I feel very bad for a lot of these artists who are just forced to work overtime all the time. Yeah, let them cook. Let them cook indeed. Right. Let's check some game ranks. Did you see Netflix Avatar show? I have a video cooking on it. Might come out on Sunday. If I get the time to edit it, just to get some shots from the show that I took some notes. Yeah, I literally took some notes with this show because I came in this like removing my expectations because of all the things that were primed because of the drama that was going on with it. We knew that the original writers and producers of the animated show were not part of this, and they decided to remove certain elements, at least downplay, not completely remove, but downplay a lot of the elements there. But I did watch the show. All I can just say is that this is just sad. They don't get what they're doing. And mostly because they more or less rejected the animated series as the source material. Now, it's not to an egregious degree as many other Netflix adaptations that we've seen before, but they're kind of playing it way too safe to a point where it becomes just stupid. Like, Aang's reason for many things literally makes zero sense. This is how the show plays, okay? For the most part. Okay, I have to do this thing. Looks at the camera. Because goes on a freaking long tangent. Like, completely insults your intelligence. Like, I'm coming in the show. Like, if I'm a fan, obviously, I know what the story is going to be about. But even if you are not a fan, like, the exposition, the reason why characters do the things that they are literally said on screen, and there's like no build-up. It is so freaking boring. The only saving grace of this show is the action. The cinematography. It's like, why? Why couldn't you? The story of Aang. But I gotta stop because this is gonna put me in a very long tangent. I will talk about it on Sunday. You'll get a video about it. I'm so tired, man. I'm so tired to see people just not getting it because they don't want to listen. Why do they have to shoot themselves in the foot all the way like this? It's like literally in the first episode, Aang is like, oh, why do I have to be so... Like, because he has this, like, performance angst, I guess, because he's more special than everybody else. Like, the literal first scene is him being shown doing things that nobody can do. And then he keeps on complaining about, oh, why the fuck am I special? Like, dude, then stop doing all the special shit. It makes no sense. The way that characters are displayed there, it makes no sense. And that's the thing, like, of course, you can get the visuals right, and that's fine. But if you do not catch the essence of characters, then it doesn't matter. All of those things have to play well together. Ang isn't angst though. You know what I mean. Okay, 10 games with infinite replayability that we can't stop playing. I wonder which one these are.
A lot of games nowadays are intended to be played forever, but it's not necessarily because they're replayable, it's because they're games as a service. And I don't want to talk about those today. I talk about those enough. Let's talk about something good. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on Game Ranks, 10 games with infinite replayability. Starting off with number 10, it's the Hitman trilogy. The World of Assassination. You know, 3 games with more than 20 maps, multiple game modes, and tons of challenges. And with the new Freelancer update, it's basically an infinite game with randomized targets, random loot drops, and tons of ways to kill your target.
We should do a Hitman 3 stream. Oh, I should do one. Give me a couple of weeks. I'll plan something good. I need to do one. Like, literally, I have so bloody many assets because originally, for those who saw some of my previous reviews, I was making use of a model of Agent 47 to do a lot of my edits. And for that reason, I have plenty of stuff to do funny videos out of. So, you know what? That's a pretty good idea. I'm going to plan on making one, a very good one soon. I'll be working on that. Okay.
It's just a ton of content, just in the basic campaign mode for Hitman. But that's the beginning. Yeah, you can spend hundreds of hours screwing around in standard levels, testing your assassination skills.
I'll just have to Photoshop a mustache on every single one of those models. That's going to be fun. Because back then I did not have this thing here.
And attempting every possible unique kill you can get, but there's so much more to these games now. So much more, it's kind of crazy. On top of the campaign, there's elusive targets, which are special one-time only assassinations, where you get minimal in-game assistance, contracts mode, where you get your own custom scenarios and attempt ones built by other players. There's escalations, which challenge you in unique ways. They mix up standard maps to be more difficult or limit your options. That's a lot, but then they throw in the new Freelancer mode, which has been dominating my time with the game. It turns the game basically into a roguelike, where you go on campaigns and take out randomly generated targets using a limited inventory. It's randomized, so it changes up how you play even more than usual. It's a fantastic mode that's completely free and adds a ton of replayability to an already basically infinitely replayable game. And number 9 is Risk of Rain 2, a third-person roguelite shooter. It's extremely fun, it's highly addictive, and it's a pretty big challenge, honestly. But the thing that makes it infinitely replayable is the co-op. Playing games with a friend can make basically any game more fun, but when you take a game that's already good and throw in some really, really good multiplayer action, that's what keeps a game alive long past when you might individually get tired of it. The thing about this game is it's not really the most feature-rich or complex. It has a lot of items, and it's been getting solid updates for years. But what really makes it great is just how mechanically solid it is.
Yeah.
It's a roguelite that is just incredibly fun to play. There's a lot of classes to pick from, tough bosses to fight, and it's still getting serious updates. In fact, there's an expansion coming out soon. This is one I haven't gotten a chance to highlight much in the past, so it's overdue for a mention. A great one to waste a lot of time on.
Yeah, I think I unlocked almost all of the characters that you can get. But yeah, making it to the end was a chore, but it was fun. It was a fun chore.
And number 8 is Monster Hunter World. Now that it's exceptionally cheap and more people are playing it.
You know what? Hitman Absolution 1? I don't blame you. I too enjoyed Hitman Absolution. They did play too much on the whole him having bullet time. Oh, not bullet time, but like the whole perfect aim thing, just like you have in Red Dead Redemption 2. I overused that way too much, but I still have fun with it. The story was super stupid, but a bit darker to a certain degree. At least certain levels were darker than some of what we've gotten in the latest Hitman trilogy. So I feel that. I feel that.
Than ever. Why not jump back into Monster Hunter World? What else is there to say about this one? It's great. The premise is simple, but it's crazy addictive. You hunt monsters, there's a lot of monsters, there's a lot of weapons. That's it. That's the game. That's Monster Hunter World. You'd think something that's basically a glorified boss rush would get old after a while, but it doesn't.
Yeah, it's true. It's more linear, but I mean, it's like the thing that I liked about it is that you could just go through an entire playthrough pretty quickly and then go through the different modes and try to fit how difficult it was. And just, if you wanted to do an achievement hunt on a game like that, that was perfect. Hitman 3, or the trilogy, takes ages, and especially if you have to make sure that you take part or partake in every single one of the events. I haven't even completed the Christmas one yet. It's so sad. But yeah, Hitman Absolution was cool. And of course there's Monster Hunter, which I perhaps should also get back to, because Monster Hunter, what's it called? Survival? No, what's the one that's coming next year called? Monster Hunter Rise? No, what the hell? It's literally the same name as that game that EA cancelled. Monster Hunter Wild. No, Wilds is coming out next year in 2025. Yeah, I need to prepare for that. I need to remember my mechanics because I need to dive back into this world. I need to have like a time killer that is kind of deep, and that's Monster Hunter for me.
The game keeps you on a hamster wheel, trying to get resources, build better armor, make weapons, take on the toughest hunts. And as someone who's finished the game completely, it's hard not to want to jump back in with a new character and try it out with different weapons and synergies. It's a ton of fun by yourself, and it's great with friends too. This game has been getting updated for years too. They've added so much extra crap to it, but it's just as straightforward and easy to jump in as ever. Once you get used to the controls,
yeah,
there's not a lot else that you need to know. You go out, fight monsters, carve them up for resources, and do it again. What more you need? And number 7 is Vampire Survivors. The original is still one of the best. For a game meant to be played in bite-sized chunks, there's just something incredibly addictive about it. The gameplay is about as basic as you can get. You don't even control your attacks. Your guy just attacks automatically, but it's so fun and satisfying to play. It's great. Seriously, as a chill-out game, there's very little better. It's not chock full of annoying microtransactions and ads like a lot of other casual games, and just to be frank, that's fantastic. The game basically always drip feeds new content and unlockables, and it keeps things interesting even as you're essentially just doing the same thing over and over again. You can tell the guy who made this worked in the gambling industry. He clearly knows all the tricks to keep the dopamine flowing. Just, he doesn't do it to be predatory, which is, I mean, just astounding in of itself. Somebody's like, yeah, I'm going to take all these concepts and make it so that it's just about having fun.
Yeah. Amazing, isn't it? Actually, Deep Rock Galactic Survivor, I think, has sold how many copies yet? Let me see. Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. New. 500,000 units on its first week. That's the product of dopamine rush right here, guys. This is what we like.
I'm not going to actually take anything from the player. I'm not going to exploit them in any way. I'm just going to give them a thing that continually gets more and more fun. Like, seriously, can you imagine that type of mindset in one of the larger companies in gaming today? I cannot, obviously. Anyway, Vampire Survivors is a really basic but incredibly entertaining game. And hey, if you get tired of it, there's a ton of copycats to try out instead. And a lot of those are pretty good too. For me though, the original's good enough. I'll pop into the thing and get addicted all over again every few weeks. Mechanically, it's not a deep game, but who really cares? Look at the flashing lights. Sometimes the flashing lights are all you need.
Yeah, flashing light and numbers. And that's kind of like the thing when you have some stupid live service, like let's say Suicide Squad's Kill the Justice League, which, I mean, some can argue that there's some redeeming aspect behind it, the story or whatever, until the Batman part, which they could have literally changed by turning it into Batman Beyond. I don't know, like, it's such an obvious choice, but never mind. Where you have numbers raging all over your screen, when you can make a Survivor game instead, and do that. If you want that type of UI, make it that. It has to fit a certain framework. I don't understand why some devs don't grasp that thing.
And number 6 is Battle Brothers, where Vampire Survivors is endless positive reinforcement. Battle Brothers is the opposite. This game is brutal, random, and ruthless, and if you want to get anywhere, you're going to have to die a lot before you start understanding how any of it even works. The gameplay, kind of a cross between a tactical strategy game like Mountain Blade, with a mean streak a mile wide. Like, I'm not highlighting a second game to combine Mountain Blade with. I'm saying it's if you combined that with a mean streak. You start off with your little company of mercenaries. You take on jobs, try to survive in this low fantasy, randomly generated setting. Death comes fast, and it comes often, which is how I remember my teens. Oh!
Actually, yeah, you're not wrong. If they swapped Batman with Wonder Woman there, that would also fit.
Anyway, many players outright lose the second or third encounter. That's how ruthless the game is. Once you start to understand how the stats work and what you're meant to do in combat, everything gets a lot smoother. Doesn't get easy, though. In fact, it might make you more angry when you randomly lose your best guy on a 90% chance to miss attack roll, but that's just the way it is. There's enough tactical depth here to keep players coming back, even when it's kicking your teeth in. You might call fans of the game gluttons for punishment, but when you finally start to turn things around and actually succeed, it's one of the most satisfying roguelikes out there. And number 5 is Deep Rock Galactic. This cooperative FPS mining game is so much more fun than the description makes it sound. Even trying to explain the game makes it sound boring and samey, but it's extremely engaging, it's very unique, and most of all, it's a ton of fun. How this one works is you pick a class, select from a wide variety of different missions, each with their own objectives and challenges, then you explore a procedurally generated cave system. Sounds like an FPS Minecraft mod, but it's got a lot more going to it, believe me on that one. It's one of the best cooperative games out there. It's so well balanced and fun and satisfying. Every class feels unique and powerful. The environments are surprisingly varied for a bunch of randomly generated caves, and above all else, it's got one of the best, friendliest communities
Playing
out
Deep
there.
Rock Galactic, in
It's
fact.
tough. Like, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but even when you fail a mission, it feels like you accomplished something. It's a game you can easily waste hundreds of hours on. It just doesn't get boring.
I'm lacking just one achievement for Deep Rock Galactic Survivor. Let me see. Yep, I played it for 13 hours. I'm lacking one achievement, and I'll be done with it. I haven't made it to the final, the highest difficulty though, but yeah, it's good. It's good.
At number 4, it's Dead Cells, and this is another game I haven't really gotten to talk about at the length that I would like to.
I need to play
but
this
it
too.
fortunately did get enough attention during its primary life cycle. Like, I don't want to act like this one hasn't gotten its due. I just am happy to get to talk about it and maybe persuade some people who haven't tried it to do so. It was kind of one of the first in this big indie roguelike boom, and it's still one of the best. because they keep adding stuff to it. Like, it's probably one of the most feature-rich roguelikes of all time. It's absolutely bursting with content. Hell, they basically added a new game on top of it with the Castlevania DLC.
Oh.
And there's so much to dig into there. The side-scrolling action platformer is just relentlessly fast and intense, and that's the thing that stands out about it to me, just how quick and deadly it can be. Once you get good at it, you can dash through the levels in seconds, but you can also be like me and carefully scope out every enemy encounter to avoid getting killed randomly, and still end up dying anyway. I never claimed to be good at Dead Cells, I just said I like it. It's actually the case with a lot of games. But, you know, compared to a lot of roguelike games, especially now, Dead Cells really isn't that tough. It gets tougher on higher difficulties, and that's where the game really gets interesting, but if you just want to play a fun game, you don't have to make things hard on yourself. A lot of the pain in this game is
so
self-inflicted. It's one of those games that's fun to challenge yourself in, though, and you can spend a lot of time doing it. And number 3 is 7 Days to Die, the elevator pitch, Minecraft crossed with zombie survival. But that's also selling it pretty short. The thing I really like about 7 Days to Die is it's a huge map filled with interesting points to explore. That's the thing that keeps me coming back. On top of the challenging survival gameplay, and that's what really makes it stand out. The base game is a lot of fun, even if it's another perpetually in early access kind of game. There's still a ton of stuff to get up to inside of it, and it's one of the best survival games out there to play with friends. Its simulation gameplay is a lot more sophisticated than Minecraft, but one thing it does have in common is that there are a lot of mods. Like, there's tons of ways to tweak the gameplay and make it more unique, so to speak, and a lot of them are pretty impressive. I've spent quite a few hours messing around with this game, just playing the base game, but the mod scene is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, as written there, eternally in alpha.
Extremely impressive stuff out there. And number 2 is Stellaris. Listen, you could put any Paradox game here. Europa Universalis 4, Hearts of Iron 4. Like, these are all massive time stealers that can easily become forever games. But let's focus on Stellaris, their 4X space game. Like all Paradox...
Bro, I am so happy that I have, with this type of games, I have it with dart and fighting games. I cannot control myself. I had one addiction coming out of, no, not high school. That would be primary school. That was World of Warcraft. A fun little anecdote here. When we moved to from an apartment to actually living in a house, our house was right in front of our school. So I could literally jump over, like, we had like a little gate there that separated our school and our home, and then get to school. So I literally left for like a minute before class started to attend classes. This meant that during breaks, I had the opportunity to go back home and complete my dailies in WoW. That was freaking addictive. And I was so glad that I recovered. Once I left World of Warcraft and started dabbling with other things, also had to go through a short phase with League of Legends, but once that was over, this type of games became my bread and butter. And Stellaris, I am so happy that I can control my urges to play this game, because I do not understand how you can make a management game, because it's basically what it is, so bloody addictive. And it's so good. It's so bloody good.
Paradox games, the grand strategy is just a means to generate stories, and Stellaris pushes procedural storytelling more than any other game in their catalog. That can make it a somewhat divisive game, because certain mechanics are pretty bare bones when it came out, and you really need to get at least some of the fairly expensive DLC to get the most out of the game. But if you're willing to invest in it, there is a well of deep strategic gameplay to dig into. You don't even have to play the regular game, though, if you want to spend an infinite amount of time with it. Just play the mods. There's a ton of them, and they practically retail.
Yes, he had to show it. He had to show it.
Quality. Like, there's a Star Trek mod for this game that's better than the actual commercially available Star Trek game put out by Paradox. With mods, this game isn't just one massive game, it's a ton of games. And finally, at number 1, it's RimWorld. This colony builder is like if you crossed Prison Architect with Dwarf Fortress. And like Stellaris, it's less of a deep strategy game, more of a sandbox to mess around with and have funny, unexpected things happen. The thing that makes RimWorld stand out compared to so many other strategy games is how much personality your colonists have. It's like an M-rated The Sims, where half of the time someone will flip out and go feral, civil wars start to break out, brutal power struggles take place, and you can interfere as much or as little as you want. The DLCs and mods make even more possibilities for the game, but in this case, the base game is more than enough to waste away your days. It's just endlessly entertaining, building up a colony only to watch it inevitably decline and have everyone go crazy and kill each other. It's not a pretty game by any means, but it's so addictive that it's easy to look past. I have some bonus...
There is a game that tried to do something similar that I actually... For some reason, I was stupid enough not to ask for a key for it. But Digital Foundry allowed me to... not Digital Foundry, oh my god. Who was it who made this? It's called Stranded Alien Dawn. Who made it? Okay. Yeah, who's the publisher? That's the... Frontier, sorry. Frontier Devs actually sent me both a key, what is the chance to get both a key to the main game and a DLC. And I said no. That was the dumbest choice that I've ever made for a literal free game that I could have had. It's attempting to make something like RimWorld and such, but just with more realistic graphics. It was pretty good. Good sandbox.
Games for you. Most of them are obligatory mentions just because, I mean, they've been around forever and this is their reputation. But let's start them off with The Binding of Isaac. It is truly an endless game. It just keeps going and going. They just keep updating it. Like, the amount of bosses, items, areas, it's all ridiculous, and there's so many different characters to play as. You're always trying something new. Lots of content keeps a game replayable, but there's also something about Binding of Isaac that makes it an infinity game. The short run length, the simple but deep gameplay, the crazy variety of items and builds that make every run feel different. It's like the platonic ideal of a roguelike. Next is Stardew Valley, another one of those games that the devs just can't stop updating, and people can't stop playing. It's a farm game, which sounds boring, but it's really addictive. The cycle of waking up, tending the farm, talking to villagers, completing jobs, and exploring the world is beyond satisfying. The repetition in this case is a positive, but the game gives you so much other stuff to do if you want. It's the kind of game that's impossible to put down, but you've always got a new goal or something to achieve, and it never takes too long for anything to happen.
Can we also appreciate the fact that gamers are willing to spend more time working in video games than doing in real life? Isn't it beautiful? Thanks, Combicat. Seriously, isn't it beautiful? Workplaces need to really adjust their way to incentivize that their workers feel comfortable so that they can have the same boost in dopamine while completing their task, so that work actually becomes enjoyable. Because the fact that we can do this, even if it's physical, damn, like I could spend hours going through Wii Sports. As long as it's fun.
A non-stop feedback loop that keeps you constantly engaging, even when you're doing the most mundane of things. The next one's an oldie but a goodie and an obvious one, Skyrim. What else needs to be said here? The game's plenty replayable on its own, but the mod scene is probably second to no other game. There's so many excellent mods that completely remake the game or massively improve some part of the gameplay, and messing around with the mods is still basically a game all its own. There's an alchemy to managing mods in Skyrim. You can spend hundreds of hours just staring at the mod manager, let alone playing the game. This will take your life from you if you allow it. And then finally, what's a bigger, of course, than Skyrim? Well, Minecraft. You can't not mention it in a list like this. It's got a mod scene that rivals Skyrim's. There are multiple massive mods that can...
Roblox.
completely upend the game, and there's so much you can do with it that it's overwhelming. It's a game with infinite possibilities, like anything can be done in Minecraft, so I have to mention it. But that's all for today. Leave us a comment, let us know what you think. If you like this video, click like. If you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week. Best way to see them first is a courses subscription, so click subscribe. Don't forget to enable notifications, and as always, we thank you very much for watching this video.
Yeah. Oh shit! The Shogun game is out. What the fuck? Hold on. Oh no, sorry. It comes out next month. I completely misunderstood this. It's a Shogun movie that came out. Never mind. How strong is mythical Zeus?
Zeus, king of the Olympian gods. Or if you are one of those people who gets triggered when someone doesn't pronounce the name of the deity correctly, then I guess, at least once, I can say Zeus. But for the rest of us who shower every day, how powerful is Zeus?
Yeah, you need to give him the proper Greek pronunciation. Just like you say Heracles and not Hercules.
And more importantly, what does it matter? Well, I can confidently answer the first question, but before we can answer that, we have to ask, which Zeus? Because to me, there is more than one version of Zeus, and each is progressively more powerful. First, we have the version of Zeus that you are most familiar with. This is the Zeus that fights the Titans, the Zeus of the Iliad and the Theogony. You can call him Homeric Zeus, Hesiodic Zeus, Mycenaean Zeus, and any other name you want, but for this video, we're gonna call him Hellenic Zeus.
Yeah,
the second version of the god would be his Roman equivalent, Jupiter. He is virtually the same, but significantly more powerful. And finally, we have Orphic Zeus. Why is he called that? I will explain later, but before we continue, I have to let you know that you don't need to split the god into separate versions. I choose to do that because it makes sense to me, but you are more than justified if you want to conflate all these versions of Zeus into a composite version. There is really nothing stopping you from doing that. Well, there's some contradictions here and there, but mythology is riddled with them. Now, with this out of the way, let's start with his weakest version, Hellenic Zeus. First, let's cover his basic stats: strength, speed, and durability. For strength, this Zeus can easily lift planets. You could wank him into being stronger, but moving planets is something he can do with ease.
Wise god.
Okay, how about speed? Well, Hera, the wife of Zeus, can teleport. Ares, the god of war, is stated to be the fastest of all of the Olympian gods. And all of the Olympian gods agree that even together they stand no chance against Zeus. Based on this, we could reason that Zeus is faster than someone who is faster than someone who can teleport. Does this logic...
Sure. Does it logically make sense? I guess. Ain't the spelling of Hercules the Roman variant of Heracles? Yes, indeed.
Makes sense? Of course not, but neither does lifting a planet. We are here for his best showings, and the point is, he's really fast. Lastly, for his durability, Hellenic Zeus minimum has planetary durability, because he can withstand the power of his thunderbolts. And having said that, we can nicely segue into his equipment, starting with his aforementioned thunderbolts.
Into Kratos, yeah. Give him the boost of Hermes. He'll catch up to him.
Now, here's the thing you need to understand about Zeus's thunderbolts. Zeus's thunderbolts were designed, they were crafted as a weapon to end the war against the Titans. They are not normal electricity, they are far more powerful. Personally, I like to refer to Zeus's thunderbolts as the Kerapnos. Kerapnos is just Greek for thunderbolt, but the noun separates them from a regular lightning strike. Okay, fine, so they're not normal electricity, but how powerful are the Kerapnos then? Well, they can easily destroy planets, and you can even argue that they are already
a prodigious conflagration took possession Chasm. Okay. An imminent blaze reached the divine ether. The whole earth boiled. Sure.
Universal in power, but at minimum.
But then it depends again on what you are calling the whole earth. Is it the same where, like in scripture, where you go, because to borrow a little bit from Christianity, when Christianity sometimes write the earth, it's a reference to a patch of land. Just an area where some people are living. Sometimes, of course, if we are just talking about literal, not literal, but in similitude here, it's talking about people. But sure, let's give it that. We say the whole earth then.
They are planetary. Now, the Karabnos is Zeus's bread and butter. They are his preferred weapon, but they are not the only thing he has. Another powerful item at Zeus's disposal is the Aegis. Now, what the Aegis exactly is depends on the source you are reading. Sometimes it's a goat skin, sometimes it's a shield, sometimes it's a set of golden armor.
Sensei-o!
And it can even be the skin
of a giant.
Whatever the Aegis is, there is one thing that is consistent about it. It is indestructible. And when you shake it, it makes everyone around you terrified. And after the hero, Perseus, murdered the Gorgon Medusa, her head was placed on the Aegis, and ever since, the Aegis has the power to turn you into stone if you look at it. Lastly, Zeus has an extremely powerful sword called the Harpe. The Harpe was the same weapon the Titan Kronos used to castrate his father Uranus. Uranus is the sky, as in the blue thing that you see when you look up during the day. The Harpe cut that. Uranus was an intangible abstract being, and the Harpe wounded him. Later, the monster Typhoon would use the Harpe to wound Zeus, meaning that however durable you agree Zeus to be, the Harpe can bypass that. And on top of all of this, Zeus has his own hacks. Because he's a god, of course he has his own god powers. Zeus is essentially a reality warper, in the sense that he can control and manipulate anything that exists in any way he wants.
What's the name of this kid again? This is Sue Storm and Reed Richards' child. I forget his name. But yeah, he's the most powerful mutant to ever exist. And of course, some people may mention Matthew Malloy. Yeah, that's his name. But no, I think Reed Richards' son is better.
He can do things like turning people into entire constellations, and he can even turn your wits so that you make bad decisions. The crowning moment that cements his control over creation is when he turned both Poseidon and Apollo into mortals. Yeah, he just turned off their godhood. In addition to this, he can see the future because he has a lady called Metis in his tummy. And that's it, that's Hellenic Zeus. Yeah, that's the weakest one. Now, let's talk about Roman Zeus, aka Jupiter. So, his Karabnos now can destroy the universe. And physically, he gets an amp as well, just by...
And Jove above others leaned upon his staff of ivory and shook 3 times in 4 awe-inspiring, thick-headed... Wait, what the fuck? Makes the cosmos tremble.
By moving his head, he shakes the...
Yeah, okay, fine. You say cosmos, but it's not that, okay? Whatever they saw was just what they say the night sky. It could have just been our galaxy.
Universe. And Jupiter is not just strong, he's also wiser. He has a scroll in which everything that is destined to happen is written, and he can read this scroll whenever he feels like, so effectively, he's all-knowing. However, even with all of his power, Jupiter cannot go against fate. No matter what is written to happen will happen. But you know, that's his only restriction. Now, let's talk about Orphic Zeus. But before we get to why he's so strong, I have to explain why he's called that. So, according to myth, there used to be this guy called Orpheus. Orpheus had his own religion, Orpheism, obviously named after him. In this religion, the Greek gods exist. It was the same pantheon, except that there were some minor differences here and there. One of those differences is that the entire universe was created by a deity named Phanes. Phanes is the result of 3 infinities coming together: time, chaos, and ether. It would take too long to explain what these 3 are, but in short, the 3 of them are infinite, and when they combine, they create Phanes. Zeus later eats Phanes and gains all of his powers. Orphic Zeus is omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent, and he is no longer bounded by fate. Anyways, I think that's all I have to say. I was originally planning on wasting some time near the end of the video talking about what Zeus looks like according to the texts, but I don't think anyone cares about that, so I'm gonna end it here. That's it. Thank you so much for...
Orphan Zeus. Sure, why not? Avoid jump scare. Yeah, he basically became Galactus. Had himself a meal. Speaking of deity, have you guys seen the thing with Kenneth Copeland? The actual demon? Zeus ate a person and became an orphan. The only reason I know Fanis is because of Genshin Impact. Yeah. That's literally me when I was younger. The fact that I learned about a lot of like other cultures through anime without even having any idea of what that was about. Okay, guys, if you were scared by that jump scare before of Uranus, here's something even scarier. I present you an actual demon. There are entities that roam this earth that I don't consider to be supernatural, but come pretty damn close. The hippo, the original river demon, is one of them. Fucking fast, ferocious, doesn't give a damn. But imagine putting that in human form. You get this dude here. El Diablo himself. Kenneth freaking Copeland.
Why you don't want to fly commercial? Why have you... How are you, sir? We'd just like to ask you about why you don't want to fly commercial. Why have you said that you won't fly commercial? You said that it's like getting into a tube with a bunch of demons. Why do you think that?
No, listen to me just a second. Not the people. The main reason is because of the need. If I flew commercial, I'd have to stop 65% of what I'm doing. That's really the main.
Isn't it true that you want to fly commercial so that you can fly in luxury? How much money did you pay for Tyler Perry's Gulfstream jet, for example?
Well, for example, that's really none of your business, but...
Isn't it the...
Ooh. Pastors. This guy is absolutely insane. It is so sad to see. Like, I've said this before, and I will repeat it whenever I can. I am not to the extent of being like anti-religious. Like, I'm not anymore. I used to be a fervent Christian, and I do understand why a lot of people, unfortunately, very often through desperation, end up falling for stuff like this. But man, I have a lot of sympathies for people who unfortunately have ended up having faith in monsters like this. I feel bad for them. This man is quite literally, if there were to be demons, it would be him.
Business of your donors.
Listen, I paid. You kind of caught me off guard here, okay?
Yeah, of course she caught you off guard, because usually this type of people will try to hide behind scriptures and try to make things up so that they can justify it to their audience that God wanted me to be like this. You remember there was a case like last month, I think, or earlier this month, with a dude who swindled his entire church with his wife with like worth millions of dollars through cryptocurrency, and was like, the Lord told us to do this. Like, holy shit, man.
Well, if you like to come come out here, I'd like to give you a chance to catch your breath and have a conversation. We don't want to catch you off guard.
I love Inside Edition. You got to get this now. Hey, you listening to me? My wife thinks Inside Edition is, oh yeah. Now, thank you, Lord. Help me. Let me pray this.
Well, let me just ask you a really simple question. A lot of people think it's unbecoming for a preacher
Jesus
to live a life
Christ,
of luxury
it's disgusting.
and to fly around in private jets. What's your response to that?
Very simple. It takes a lot of money to do what we do. We have brought over 100, let's see, the latest figures just came out, 122 million people to the Lord Jesus Christ.
122 million? Don't you mean Dolores and not actual people? Oh no. I just grew up secular. I struggle to imagine caring that much about goobers like this. Yeah, I did not. I truly had to develop a secular view of the world. And that's the thing that becomes quite difficult to understand sometimes. And it's this weird thing. Growing up when you are put in an environment where compassion is more or less the only thing that you can rely on. That's more or less me. I was fortunate though, being on the side of like not experiencing poverty, yet still frequenting a bunch of people who literally only had to rely on like people being kind to them. I understood why they had to rely on faith. That's also why, statistically speaking, we see that most secular countries are the ones who are faring well economically. People are doing all of these seed gifts and whatever, hoping that some entity will save them. But that's not the way. They blindly go and waste their time doing this and following individuals like this freaking monster. It's sad.
Let me give you another example. Last May, I was scheduled for Lagos, Nigeria. That's a long ways. I had a week off, and I was scheduled for Peru. And I prayed about it, and I thought, I'm not missing that dedication in Jerusalem. Without the airplane that we have that I bought from Tyler Perry, and I didn't pay anywhere. And Tyler's one of the greatest guys. He made that airplane so cheap for me, I couldn't help but buy it.
What the fuck? And the thing that is saddest about this is that the people in his congregation are going to watch this. How much? See? The dislike. 14,000 people came and disliked this. Most likely followers. Are going to be like, oh, but he's right. He's doing God's work.
My question then, okay, all right, but I want to get to the demons because people are very concerned about that comment.
Give me a chance here, Inside Edition. I love your eyes. And
creep.
Here's what happened. We flew in 21 days, 70 hours, 40,000 miles.
Who cares?
Touched 5 continents and preached face to face personally.
Who cares?
With 125,000 people.
Do you ever use your private jets to go visit your vacation homes, for example?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Again, getting back to the comment. You said that you don't like to fly commercial because you don't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. Do you really believe that human beings are demons?
No, I do not. And don't you ever say I did.
Oh.
We wrestle not with flesh and blood,
Ugh.
but principalities and powers.
My dude straight up jumped into Ephesians 6:12. That's literally the devil you just saw there. it's fucking sad, man. Like, that right there, it's actually kind of strange. These verses like spring into my mind when I hear them used this way, because there are just people around you that will make use of those things as apologetics, because everything is justifiable because there's a verse in the Bible that will allow you to do that. But yes, the letters of the Ephesians that Paul sent to people saying that, yeah, we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but the principalities of, like, you're fighting against the demons that are inhabiting people, because demons and words are spirits, and the word that you say combat the spirits of other people. Like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? Prove me first and foremost that any of those things truly happened, and we'll see.
Can you explain what you meant by that term then? Just explain, because it's really simple. You said you didn't want to get into a tube with a bunch of demons. What did you mean?
Well, let me ask you.
Do you think that people that fly commercial are demons?
If you give me a chance to talk, sweetheart, I'll explain this to you. But it's a biblical thing. It's a spiritual thing. It doesn't have anything to do with people. People, I love people. Jesus loves people. But people get pushed in alcohol. Do you think that's a good place for a preacher to be and prepare to go preach to a lot of people when somebody in there is dragging some woman down an aisle? It made me so mad to see that on television. I wanted to punch the guy out myself. I can't be doing that while I'm getting ready to preach.
By the way, dude, ew, look at those nails. Ew, he's literally serpentine. I can imagine him literally being the type of individual that turned into those lizard people. The thing of, oh, it's like a mole rat. Yikes, dude, cut those nails.
So you just don't like to be around the sinful people or the hurtful
yeah.
people. Is that what you're saying?
The people, baby, not the people.
Ugh.
Back during the days that we couldn't do anything else, we had to travel commercial.
Yeah, back in the days when you couldn't swindle people. I'm sorry, we're gonna stop it here. It's getting a bit... I feel like I need to take a shower after this. So we're gonna stop. No, I couldn't watch more of this. I wanted to go through the whole thing, but no. I feel a bit disgusted. Back during the days... Ugh. Ugh. Yeah, I like what she did there and didn't flinch much as his act. Because then he could turn that against her and start spewing more bullshit. Man, dude, individuals like that really make me want to lose faith in humanity. CJ. Oh, guys, gonna watch one last video because I actually need to go to sleep. Go to bed. But this one is from our boy from Casual Geographics. And he has a cool one here on... I'm not sure. I see an Aurora Borealis in the thumbnail. I'm just gonna assume that... but it says it's an island, so it doesn't make sense. Anyways, want to check the guy out. He's awesome. Want to learn some more about animals. I mean, Christians and atheists team up. Isn't it wonderful? When we can set aside our differences and be like, no, That is actual evil. We don't need to consult any book or anything. We can see that with our own eyes. Demon? Yes, demon. Agreed. Get the shotgun. Call the Doom guy. We gotta take this guy down. I would like to see you react to Randy Fellface Grunty. Grunty bookshelf. Grunty bookshelf. Oh, stand-up comedy pop, and I can note that down. Grunty bookshelf. Yeah, that's a sad thing though. People are gonna give him money either way. But let's watch something a bit more entertaining and less demonic. Casual Geographic, yeah. On wait, wasn't it what you call? Or did I read it wrong? Yeah, bookshelf. Alright, Casual Geographics on the island too strange to belong on Earth.
If Narnia and the Twilight Zone had a one-night stand with enough hallucinogens to make the cast of Euphoria flinch, you'd get this island. What happens when you combine snow-seasoned beaches, sky-molesting reaches, air so clean you'd swear it bleaches, a hippie Satanist's wet dream jungle, and animals not even Dr. Seuss on Adderall could come up with? You'd get a place with enough worlds for a Mar-
Okay, hold on. This man just spit more bars in 10 seconds than I have heard in a while. Jesus Christ, let's go back.
To make the cast of Euphoria flinch, you'd get this island.
Hold on,
what
hold
happens
on.
when if Narnia and the Twilight Zone had a one-night stand with enough hallucinogens to make the cast of Euphoria flinch, you'd get this island. What happens when you combine snow-seasoned beaches, sky-molesting reaches, air so clean you'd swear it bleaches, a hippie Satanist's wet dream jungle, and animals not even Dr. Seuss on Adderall could come up with? You'd get a place with enough worlds for a Mario side-scroller, all packed into an island the size of West Virginia.
Tasmania! I was about to pause and say, okay, that sounds kind of somewhere around Australia or the whole Oceanian continent. All right. I'm following along now. Tasmania. Oh my God. Tasmania has perhaps three of the greatest thing. Of course, the Tasmanian devil, the Rosella bird, and this freaking thing called the nightjar. Those are pretty fucking cool. Let's keep watching. They also have those, no, actually, that's generally an Australian thing. Those kind of crow-looking things that always attack people and try to peck their eyes out. Australia is really on, I guess we should say it's Tasmania here, but Australia as a whole is always like on survival mode. I feel bad for every Australian. But I guess that if you're born there, you can survive anywhere.
ELC spin-off of Australia. It was originally connected to Australia as part of a polyamorous land situation known as Gondwana, until they divorced and Tasmania moved out on its own. But not without attachment issues, since it's only about 150 miles off the mainland. It's fitting you can't spell Taz without mania, because one day in Australia's draft folder will have you seriously reevaluating your sanity. Everything's just backwards. The seasons are flipped, with summer being December to late February.
Are they truly lovely birds? Because every single time that I see anything, at least that I have read, anything regarding magpie, it has always been about them attacking somebody. Perhaps it's because of, like, the more urbanized a place is, the more they are willing to interact with people and be violent. But I take offense to this slander. I'm sorry.
And winter being June to September, and if you want to fall without tripping, you'll have to March 1st. And because of the rain shadow effect in the many mountains of Tasmania, the west half of the island gets 5 times the rain the east does, making the landscape more bipolar than the animal it's known for. Speak of the devil, we'll get to them, and that wombat is definitely not sleeping. But that's exactly the kind of mind to expect from a land where the toilets flush backwards. In fact, we can start right there. Your introduction to how weird Tasmania can get starts the day you lay cheek on a seat without checking first. That's an easy way to get your taint tickled by a frog in your toilet.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome. Welcome to Australia. I have two friends who have both worked there. At least one went straight for work, the other one went for studies originally. And they both lived around the Melbourne area, and one actually moved a bit more towards the outback where he got housing. And he bought a motorcycle. Perhaps I can find an image of him. And through his stay there, whenever he would leave his bike in the shades, he will always come back and find a bunch of cryptids underneath it. Cryptids, like they were a strange animal. You know what I mean. Animals like spiders and everything, hiding, searching for shade. Magnus. Does he have like an image of it? I wish he did. Was living around the surface paradise. This dude here, perhaps. Yeah, anyways. That's when he was living in Australia. That was so much fun. To see like constantly daily update of like, oh, there's a snake coming out of my toilet. I'll be like, are you okay? It was just daily thing for him.
It happens so often that it's one of the things Australians just accept as a fact of life. It's like a fairy tale frog trying to be a prince but got confused and went for the wrong lips, but it honestly could be worse. Just think about being the frog. Imagine thinking you're at a water park but then looking up to an hole dropping bombs like it's Hiroshima. And while getting your bathing suit area caressed by Kermit would surely put a dent in your mental, the frog's technically not dangerous and definitely not the worst thing you can find in your bathroom.
Yikes.
Imagine dropping chow in the dunny just to see the highly venomous Tasmanian tiger snake just under some TP. And yes, that's actually happened. How about a family of also venomous jack jumper ants in your kitchen? Now, their sting is a jihad the wasp, but only mildly painful in humans, unless you're allergic, in which case they'll tattoo your name on a headstone. It's like I always say, the odds might be low, but they're not zero. In Tasmania, you can have frogs causing clogs, but how about a disaster in your plaster? Do me a favor real quick, close your eyes. Go ahead, do it. Now imagine after a long, stressful day on your feet, you finally get into bed, nestle yourself under the covers, the room is the perfect temperature, it's nice and dark, and slowly drift off into that familiar, inviting world of Congrats, you've just had the experience every Australian has at one point. The day you find out you're roommates with a brush-tailed possum. Squishmallow. Their personality trait involves breaking into houses and living there rent-free, all while serving the soundtrack of Satan getting his prostate punched. And they're a protected species, so they're above.
Satan getting his prostate punched. I love this. I'm gonna use this in the future. God, that's good. And what the hell is wrong with them?
Above the law, which is how they end up in Looney Tunes levels of nonsense. There was one time a brushtail broke into and trashed some woman's office, but in his defense, he's sorry. This possum broke into a bakery, and I guarantee you sorry is the last thing, well, other than half-digested pastries, coming out of his mouth. In their defense, they are cute, and their vision might be poor, but they'll still peek at you.
Aww.
They're living proof that out of fight or spite, life in Tasmania will find a way. Take these rocks for example. The rocks, called dolerite, were formed by magma getting pushed up through the crust, kind of like a pimple that can extend up to 300 meters above the sea.
That's
or
cool.
Just under 1,000 feet. You might think nothing can get any use out of Earth's acne, but it's actually a popular rest stop for fur seals, where they can take a break from hunting without also getting packed into a lunchbox by a great white. There's about 50 of these seal service areas across the island, with over 2,000 seals taking advantage, and if you look further out, you'll see they're not the only ones. Humpback whales will travel from their freezing feeding grounds to warmer waters to have calves, and back again, and we used to think they just fasted the entire time for 6 months. But it turns out, humpbacks will use the waters off Tasmania like truckers at a diner as a place to refuel on the way home. The sights don't end once you get on the beach either. If you're lucky, you might catch a leatherback freight train of a turtle.
Oh, these are so cool. Oh my god. These are literally the coolest turtles. Look at them, man.
Heading back to sea. If you're a little less lucky, you'll run into a leopard seal that thought it was too good for directions. You know, it's not until you see these things on land that you realize just how bad penguins got it. It's rare, but every once in a while the rubber assault sub wanders from Antarctica and ends up in Australia's understudy. You might think they're cute, but let me remind you, they have a confirmed human body count. Besides, there's another seal I think you'd rock with even more. This is Neil the seal, for real. He's a southern elephant seal that's honestly been bullying the small town of Dunalley, and everyone just accepts it, because Neil is the law and the landlord. Elephant seals are notorious for their intrinsic disdain for human infrastructure. Neil is no different. As far as he's concerned, it's his town. Y'all just renting it. All that adds up to a plus-size pinniped with an attitude problem.
He's a true
An attitude
chunker.
everyone just puts up with, because isn't that just the most Australian thing you could do? And apparently Neil's still out here being a menace, so if you live in Tasmania, you might just get a visit from him. Just make sure
he could be assaulting a parking meter. That would be fine. Go ahead, flop away, Neil.
you have a sick day in the chamber in case a 1,300-pound sausage decides to park in front of your car. And because Tasmania, you can go from a diet Jabba the Hutt on your lawn to the world's smallest penguin. Fairy penguins spend most of their time at sea, but once a year they'll return to land to shack up, get a nice burrow, and eventually start a family. The penguin dream. It's
Fast
adorable
boys.
until they choose to shack up under your house and you find out what a pint-sized penguin vow renewal sounds like. I owe you an apology. But since Australia is nothing but a compromise with nature, they get the same diplomatic immunity as Neil. There's even places where you can watch hordes of travel-sized blue penguins coming home after a long day at sea. And if you're really lucky...
The southern hemisphere of Florida. Yeah. Well, I think that luckily, though, sure, there are still some venomous ones, but it's less... You're less prone to, like, brutal biting attacks, less you go into the water, I suppose.
You'll see what happens when he comes home to his wife getting her plumbing fixed by someone else. Pro tip though, they don't like bright lights, but they're chill around red.
Okay, I need to hear that one again.
It's coming home after a long day at sea. And if you're really lucky, you'll see what happens when he comes home to his wife getting her plumbing fixed by someone else. Pro tip though, they don't like bright lights, but they're chill around red. I don't really know why, but them's the...
Isn't there also a whole thing about like many of... I know it's a curse also somewhere in America, but more so in around the Australian area where a lot of animals are not translucent, but they emit certain light when exposed to UV rays. It's so weird.
Speaking of rules, you've probably heard of island gigantism, where animals become the supersized version of themselves if they've been marooned long enough. Tasmania is no exception. The difference is it led to the biggest tree in the world. This is Eucalyptus regnans. It's one of the few trees with a pyroking, since they can only reproduce by releasing seeds from pods after they've caught on fire. But because of the rain shadow effect and one side of the island getting way more rain than the other, it also means way less fires. So they kind of just keep growing. Not only can they grow taller than the Statue of Liberty at over 300 feet, many of these trees are well over hundreds of years old, since that was the last big fire. Some of the oldest can be 500. That's half a millennium of waiting to spread their seed. Talk about getting pushed to the edge. That's how you get these prehistoric, almost alien-looking Jurassic playgrounds dominating the western half of Tasmania. These not only make it one of the biggest temperate rainforests in the world, but Tasmania is one of the few places on Earth with a negative carbon footprint. And I believe it. Just looking at this, I could tell that O2 hit different. But also don't forget, the same island that's just over 150 miles from Australia is also a little over 1,500 miles from the frostbitten loins of the land.
Oh, that means that the climate is all kind of screwed up. Isn't it fascinating? That just because of those small changes, you are prone to see like climate that literally make no sense. Did you see the Australians versus American video? No, I haven't. I might be checking that out later.
Antarctica. So technically it should be no surprise they can also get a good amount of snow, even at the beaches. And maybe it's just me, y'all can let me know, but I had no idea kangaroos could be around the concept of snow. I did not think that was something they had to deal with.
They
But yeah,
can.
the forests of Tasmania are definitely something out of a fever dream. Stevie Wonder could walk through it and see that. Mostly because you don't even need to see. The soundtrack of the Apple Isle is trippy enough. Like the kookaburra, the bird who carried the careers of sound engineers by being the stock voice of the jungle. And if you've ever watched Flipper or that one time SpongeBob tested the FCC,
Yeah.
both of those were just a sped up, cracked out call of the kookaburra. Also, they're not even native to Tasmania, but were brought in to violate snakes. So were lyrebirds, except they were brought in for their own good. And
Lyrebirds are cool. They sound like cameras.
birds are able to mimic anything around them, and not just other birds.
Yeah.
There was a
Freaking Starfighter. No, it's just a bird.
lyrebird named Chook who lived in the Adelaide Zoo while a new exhibit was being built. So guess what he did?
Wow. My dude is an entire construction company. That's so dope. Imagine that, man. Nature's wonderful. I want one. No. But, that's so impressive.
Here you have a lyrebird imitating a child. And while cosplaying as a chainsaw is cool, the gaslight potential is too outrageous to not be acknowledged. There's other birds too. You probably know this as a Carnage Happy Hell Tweety and a literal Black Air Force. But Tasmanian magpies don't swoop, and neither I nor science have any idea why.
Wait, what?
Also, I don't know what I thought a goth canary sounded like, but it certainly wasn't this. I'm as confused as you. If you look up into the trees, you might find the eye-catching Tasmanian rosella, or the tawny frogmouth, which is quite literally the opposite. Truly a muppet of a bird, but it's the muppet Tasmania deserves. And then you have the nightjar.
The
A little known fact
nightjar.
about them is they actually have an even smaller Siamese twin of a bird right by where their beak's supposed to be.
Yeah, cannot unsee. But look at it, it straight up looks prehistoric. It literally does. It's a reassuring sound to wake up to. Yeah, have one of those in front of your door on a Sunday morning. What's happening? Who got the building? What they call cat? The cat company here.
And now you'll never be able to unsee it. But that's not even close to the weirdest animal in Tasmania. That would have to be, we've entered the platypus portion of the video.
Yeah.
It would take a whole nother video to describe all the ways this identity crisis is a middle finger to the natural order, so here are some highlights. They have no nipples, so they sweat milk. They have no teeth, so they chew with rocks. They have no stomach, it goes straight down their gullet. They swim blind and deaf and use electrical impulses like sharks to find prey, because of course they do. And they have one all-purpose hole that was apparently so fascinating their entire family reunion got named after it. The only animal in their league of eccentricity, weird was just too bland a word for them, is the echidna. It's also a stomachless, egg-laying, milk-sweating, water-loving monotreme. They're a lot like the Greek guard dog Cerberus, but instead of 3 heads, they have 4. Instead of on their shoulder, theirs is south of the border. Echidnas have a fire hydrant with 4 nozzles, and only 2 can come to a conclusion at a time. Speaking of erupting heads, I'm really about to blow your mind.
I did not know that. 4. I repeat, 4. That's wild. Unlimited power. I'm never gonna. Oh. This explains the Sonic franchise much more now. I understand. I understand the Sonic fan base now. This is why they are so dirty. Okay, sorry. Sorry for putting that in your brain, but I understand stuff now.
So you probably know the Disney show Phineas and Ferb with character Perry the Platypus, created by Dan Povenmire, who came up with a concept for a teal-tinted monotremes in 1993. And obviously platypus aren't green in nature, or at least not the live ones. Except in late 2020, scientists discovered the walking custard factory glows under UV light. Take a wild guess.
There we go.
Yeah, this goes right at the top. Their quadruped cousins glow too. In fact, we found out that a lot, if not most, Australian mammals show out under ultraviolet. And yeah, if anyone has a reason other than that's just Australia, I would love to hear
it. That's just Australia. All Australians kind of have a little bit of radium coursing through their veins. Who was it that did it again? The Boy channel, where they went to Newtown, and they had oh no, I wanted to make an Imagine Dragon joke and sing the song Radioactive, so that doesn't work because that was Coldplay and not Imagine Dragon. God damn it! I wish I knew a good reference with that. Anyways, though, yeah, that's a strange phenomenon. Like, I understand it for a lot of sea animals, because they carry algae that can produce some of those bioluminescence. But for animals, it's like, why? No, bro got drunk and Michael just let him cook.
And if you thought it couldn't get weirder, 1, you're not giving Tasmania nearly enough credit, and 2, there's an animal here that catches bodies and uses light to do it. This underground light show is a cave full of glowworms. They're not worms, but the larvae of a type of gnat that uses bioluminescence to lure insects in, and a thread hanging from the cave ceiling to trap them. Straight out of the page of the anglerfish playbook.
Yeah.
Once a victim flies too close to the sun, the larva pulls them up to revoke their existence. Sea sparkles are a lot less dramatic, and these are caused by bioluminescent plankton that, like Skechers, light up when disturbed.
Oh, my friend in university actually wrote a paper about this. I should ask her for her research to learn about what she did. A biochemist. God damn. Look, yeah, this is actually the thing that I was thinking about. Like, it's so beautiful.
I actually went to a bioluminescent bay in the Cayman Islands, and even though it means swimming in a microscopic mosh pit, it's definitely a trippy ride everyone should experience at least once. But it has nothing on Aurora Australis. Now, I could give you the scientific explanation that the lights come from charged particles from the sun hitting atoms in the atmosphere, getting them more riled up than a fan getting an athlete's sweat sleeve, and releasing energy in the form of light. But it's honestly easier to say, of course an island stormed off its gourd would have a sky on shrooms. Which is actually close to the other thing Tasmania is famous for. Tasmania is the world's leading producer of the building blocks for opiates and supplies half of Earth's ingredients for morphine, fentanyl, and everything else in the average episode of Euphoria. In 2009, mysterious crop circles appearing in fields had farmers all forms of befuddled, until they realized it was just wallabies downing poppy plants, getting more cooked than the ops of Sweeney Todd, and hopping around in circles until eventually passing out.
Yeah, Aurora Australis, yes. That's why I was confused, because I was seeing what I imagined was the Borealis, but then it said an island in the title. So that didn't make much sense. So I was thinking like, okay, you're going to Alaska, or... No, it doesn't make any sense, but okay, fine. This is perfect. But wallabies getting cooked. This is beautiful, man. They were creating crop circles. Being like, yeah, it was the island. It was the alien, bro. They went there with the UFOs. What did it look like? It's literally in the word, man. Unidentified flying objects. What do you think? Just let me sleep.
There were respected members of the scientific community that said it was aliens. Whole time it was an economy-sized kangaroo eating enough product to have Horton hearing a who, what, and a how. Cockatoos get lit off it too, but at least with them, they're only feeding after the seeds and not just getting higher than their wings can take them. But wallabies walling out is a problem for one very crucial reason. Tasmania is also the roadkill capital of the world. It's said that 32 auto-assisted census subtractions occur every hour. And since wombats are walking cinder blocks with a rear end of retribution, they have the potential to drive a literal wedge between your car and the road. Leading the world in furry four-wheeled flatlines is bad for them, but great for one animal. This wombat's in a nightmare, but he's not dreaming, because Tasmanian devils will live up to their name by feeding on carcasses from the inside out, to the point where they'll have a food coma while bowels deep in the dead and decaying. And at the size of a small dog, devils have the most damaging bite relative to body size of any mammal. Clearly Brushtails took voice coaching from them, since they literally got their name from settlers touching down on Tasmania and hearing what a devil dinner party sounds like. But they're pretty well known, unlike their close cousin the quoll. I don't know how they fly under the radar, because where devils are mostly scavengers, quolls mostly eat what they kill. And considering there have been over 100 cases of quolls feeding on human remains, 111 to be exact, that devil title looking real fraudulent.
Dang.
Quolls also have an alternate black morph, proving that any animal with an Oreo colorway lives on demon timing. The Tasmanian devil's biggest op is their own kind. They're so bite happy that it's a big reason for the spread of devil facial tumor disease. And considering biting's basically foreplay to them, it's like an STD that's done an absolute number on their population, and there's a real fear it can cause them to go the way of the thylacine. The thylacine's been called the Tasmanian tiger or the Tasmanian wolf, but it's actually the other dominant predatory marsupial, and one of the few times an animal got gaslit into extinction.
Oh, this was the one that was confused for a lost species during COVID. When suddenly they saw like a dingo-like creature reappearing in the urban environment, they were like, "Oh no, it's this lost species! Finally, we spared nature." So it's coming back, but it was never the case.
Bounties were put on their heads, and not only were people saying thylacines were murking 50,000 sheep a year in a place that didn't have more than 40k max. Later evidence says that their jaws might have been too weak to even murk a sheep. To be fair, if that's true, nature set them up. And in 1936, the last known thylacine named Benjamin died in the Hobart Zoo. Almost fittingly enough after being locked out of his sleeping area, and the bipolar Tasman weather finished him off. But from everything we've learned about Tasmania, you knew they weren't gonna let that slide. Since 2005, devil diehards have been creating insurance populations of those without the disease, and even established an inaugural class of imps on the nearby Maria Island. There have also been efforts to create a vaccine to save the mascot of Tassie, and as of 2023, it's officially been approved for testing. And after a 3,000-year devil absence, Tasmanian devils were born on the Australian mainland after 44 of them were drafted in 2011 to a breeding program for the Aussie Ark Devil Project, which definitely sounds like a cult.
It does. It literally does. I think you should definitely watch Randy Place. Yeah, I will. What the actual fuck, man? Hold on. Let me write it down.
You even got dogs working as wingmen for the devils by smelling when a female's ready to mate, date, and procreate so they can get her set up with a male. Since then, about 500 joeys have joined the devil database, and they might not be the only ones making a comeback. There's a good number of people that believe that the thylacine is still out there, and with a lot of the Tasman wilderness being straight up inaccessible to most people, maybe the tiger of Tasmania is still out there in the shadows. And honestly, staying low-key is probably their best move. But that's really Tasmania as a whole. How such a medley of mind-f***ery and generational balderdash can be so underrated is beyond me. But if I've learned anything about Tasmanians, that's exactly how they want it. But that's gonna do it for this video that was actually inspired by this animation by Felix Colgrave. I'm not gonna spoil too much, but it basically shows you what a day in the Tasman wilderness might look like. I'm gonna put a link in the description. Definitely go check that out. Friendly reminder that I am selling calendars. Link will also be down below. Drink water, hug your parents. If you see a thylacine for their own good, no you didn't. And I'm gonna see y'all in the next one.
Oh?
Devil's got my pack of lint.
Oh.
He's got my lint. Bloody devil's got my lint.
You lost. You were calling him slanderous the entire time. I like that. Oh Jesus, it's an hour long, mate. I think we'll have to do this another time. I need to sleep. I'll check one here on... Thank you, Daddy. What the fuck? Oh, it's a... Oh, wow. Oh, I've seen this puppet before. I just didn't recognize it. Well, I've never seen videos about it, but I've seen it. I've seen its likeness. That's cool. I didn't realize that it was like an entire channel. Okay. Yeah. But guys, thank you for the stream. I need to hit the cold bed. I'm not joking, it's actually cold. I forgot to close the window into the bedroom. So I'm gonna have a field night for this. But thank you for the awesome stream. It was a lot of fun. Have a good night. Drink some water. Not too much ginger. This is fucking heavy, Jesus. And yeah, have a good night, guys. Catch Roach, I might do an extra stream on the weekend, so don't worry. You might catch up again this week at least. So yeah, have a good one.